We are just about ready to head in. The format will be a series of cup of the day style knockout rounds, different than the rest of the tournament format so far. We are, of course, repping the Irish flags, as I imagine all people will be repping the Irish flags, although not all people repping the Irish cards. I'm sure Babs is just failing to load in. But looking forward to it. Obviously, they've had time on these maps before, but now is a slightly different format with the knockouts, and be interesting to see how they adapt.
And definitely, like the knockout format will definitely show off the consistency will be the primary strategy for the players, I might say, since the maps are not easy. So there will be a huge amount of room to definitely, let's say, save to risk. Like you can basically make whatever call you want, but when the let's say when the players did knocked out and when it becomes to let's say a little shrink positions of top four top three, then I'm sure we're gonna see some, let's say, clenching rounds. Exactly what I'm about to say.
Yeah, and I've just seen someone in chat. Is his name actually Caster? No, it's a prefix that I've given myself. It's like an honorific, like a sir or a lord, just for my various different roles that we end up adapting. But yeah, looking forward to that now. I think we're just going to tear through these maps that are currently loaded up in the feed, and then we will be ready and through into the battles. We've got some fun, interesting facts from some of the players that I would like to go through because we've got a varying degree of input. Um, so we've got Potato here. His interesting fact is Liam is ginger,
Okay.
which I don't know if that's particularly the doxing that you'd think it was for the Irish Open Cup. I would assume half the players are ginger, just out of pure stats. But we've also got an awful lot of information from Liffey, which I want to go through. He has a pet crested gecko, favorite color yellow,
Okay.
and loves pizza. Will eat that for the rest of his life. So
We have a lot of common points with him, I can tell. uh, Pizza especially.
yeah,
He
do
love
you
those.
also have a gecko?
I would love to though. Like if I have a gecko in back of here, I would not, let's say, act like we are stranger to each other. I would love that one. But having a gecko is actually sounds sick. I'll take that one.
Geckos feel like the least of this planet animals that we have just knocking about.
Yeah, and they're
I
really friendly as
think
far
it's
as I
them and
know.
octopuses,
Oh,
octopods, octa whatever it is.
that's a fun fact for sure.
Yeah, we've also got apparently, just continuing on this, apparently Babs is in the Netflix documentary Tour de France Unchained
Oh,
for a brief moment. So if you
okay.
feel free to watch that, it's the 2022 edition of the race. So if you'll queue up the documentary, put it to 8x speed. By the end of the stream, you should be able to have found Babs and send us a screenshot. What else we've got here? Someone said that their fun fact is nothing that's legal to disclose. That one's intense. We've also got Yata, who is apparently only, in quotation marks, put in 30 hours into the cup maps that we're seeing here today, with a total of 140 finishes, which is perhaps not the efficiency that you would want.
I would say only is a really relative word there.
Yeah,
Maybe like underestimating himself and will overperform. I believe in him. Okay.
yeah, I do worry about those 140 finishes though. Either that's a very aggressive reset
Mhm.
if you're
Just
not doing
yeah,
perfect, or
just brute forcing his way to finish. I see that.
yeah, is Yata an AI machine learning tool? We'll never know. We will never know. We've also got, just as a fun fact, everyone was asked who do they think is going to win. It
Mm.
would be by quite some margin. Everyone thinks Babs is the one to beat, except a couple call outs for Hot Swap. If he's able to have done any practice, I think that
Mhm.
might be more of a testament to Hot Swap than it is to anyone else. Maybe not renowned for putting in all that much practice. But yeah, Babs and Hotswat, the ones to look out for. And then someone has said myself, which you've got to respect from Babs to
Yeah.
say like me.
When I joined to the, let's say, when I started to speak with the Irish people, they said like, who are we? Who are the candidates for the victory? And they said we create the Irish championship, and then Hotswat wins it all the time. So we'll see. But however, Babsify, as we said, is the man of practice right now, and I think we are live at the moment, right?
I do believe so. Yeah, we are live.
man.
A
There we
little
go.
shout there by Pastor N7 with the only Union Jack amongst the sea of the Irish, whatever tricolour is in Gaelic, who knows? And off to a good start for almost everyone. Although we are seeing some people slow up. This is quite a nice map. I like the aesthetics of this map. The nice green grass of home as they're driving through. Lots of gold too. And yeah, obviously early days. We're not going to be expecting too many surprises, but we are pretty aggressively, from what I can tell, going straight into knockouts with no warm-up round as such. So that's going to be hard for them to see. We are seeing now Ferg in 10th place, looking to collapse in on Cenas, but no, does not get that. So that is Ferg, and well, we've got some view of the rest of the map, shall we say?
Yeah, at least a showcase, let's say.
Of the scenery.
Exactly. I would never underestimate this mod. It looks so, let's say, what's a good word for soothing? Like it doesn't, it's not overly saturated to distract you. It's not underworked. Like it feels good to drive on it. I can tell. It feels like I'm on the fields of Ireland. To be exact, feels like I'm home.
Yeah, well, just to give everyone an update, there appears to be an issue with the server, so that map was for naught. Yeah, I mean, it feels very sort of Irish scenery. Being Welsh, I'm slightly biased, in that obviously if it was the Welsh Open Cup, the scenery would be ever so slightly nicer. Because obviously Wales is ever so slightly nicer, but I don't want to start any beef here, any intra BITM beef, at least not this early in the stream. But we are looking to get everyone back in. Looks like we've only got 11 people in the map, and we are expecting a few more. So just to give everyone an idea of where we are coming into this. Obviously, Babs has performed the best in time attack with only a total of 6 points, which I'm sure is very good. Although I didn't really look at the format. I have seen that Dave squared has 240 points. So there's a bit of a points differential. Obviously, you're looking to get the least amount of points possible. We call this the golf rules. But now we are here with 21 players. So it would appear that at least it may be working now. Production on the case, trying to figure it out. But
a little bit more fun facts about this particular track. It's actually featuring Tiger and the world records. We can talk about the players that what are they capable of in their max. World record is held by Babsify, I think. Yep, with a 49.3, with an amazing time. Almost 0.1 ahead of second place, which is Sox, and it is 49.4. So Babsify, as I said, on paper is the strongest over the field. But one of the more important thing is not showing your maximum pace, but showing your maximum pace while being consistent. Let's see if we can able to show us what he is capable of, because we know Hatsawat is able to capable of showing his consistency, not biased.
Not biased at all, but I think that's a good point when it comes to the difference between time attack and knockout rounds. It's probably easier to come into a knockout round event with a slightly less prep than a time attack event. So it will be interesting to see if Hotswat is able to make up this deficit. Because I do believe that, in theory, Hotswat can do better this week. But if he doesn't break that differential to Babs, it's not going to be great. So we are now in. While we do this opening round, we've got 2 truths and a lie from Cenas. And we have to get what is the truth and what is the lie. So number 1 is when he was a kid, he once ate so much beetroot his pee turned purple. When he was a teenager, he got really into magic and got pretty good at some card tricks. And they once ran a 5K in 19 minutes and 33 seconds.
Okay.
So which one do we think's a lie?
Second one seems more like a P turning to purple seems more normal to me compared to the
I
second.
just for those at home, I just want to let you know, pea turning purple is not normal. You should probably go to a doctor or alter your diet. But I know what you mean. I think the 5K I think is a locked-in truth right there.
No,
As
all
we
right.
see.
I'll go for the first one.
Yeah, maybe. The magic tricks though is like, if you got really into magic tricks and you would only describe your own skill as pretty good, that's not a load of confidence.
Like most of us get into the magic industry when we were a kid, but the second part of the scenario is it feels like a lie to me.
Yeah, we might. Let's say number 2. I believe in the 5K, just under 20 minutes. I believe that Ireland can produce such pure athleticism. So we'll go with the magic tricks just for their social standing at least. But we have seen some people go out. So we are now into the second round. It would appear that the server issues have been solved, and we are now firmly into this Irish Open Cup battle. We are seeing some issues there for Babs, but there is a large gap between himself and last place. But everyone bar Demon Dragon seems to be quite close, so still cannot risk falling too far back, but has been able to make some of the time. Ferg has had an issue, is slowing up a touch. Neranto bringing up the rear, and will look fairly bolted on here to finish inside this elimination zone unless someone is able to mess up the finish, and I don't think we'll be seeing that, but we see Bazoot and we see Neonato. Bomb,
It's all
what
over
is going
the
on?
place.
Yata's
Yata! So apparently Bazoot indeed went out, and Demon Dragon already reserved his place. This is. I was just expecting this to happen. I'm like, this can't end up right like this. Someone has to, do the silly move and just crash to the risky finish. But at the end of the day, Bazoot and Demon Dragon went out. But on to the fourth round we go. Top 18. I might say on those kind of rounds, instead of watching what's happening in front, of course, like the good times, etc., watching the back of the pack is what I love to see, because you basically fight for to stay in, whilst in front of the pack is basically just trying to flex their times. And so we have, as I just said, we have a battle for that 17th play. Neoranto forces himself so up wide here and opening the gap to point 3. Both of Blueberry and Neoranto crashing to the outside, and Yata of course benefits from this position and gains like at least 4 positions on that one. So on to the reds we look. Nitrich, and there is a battle, as I said, in the point 3 of a deficit there are almost 4 people. But onto the risky finish. Let's see if anyone gonna mess this up. Just as I said, that Ferg has to respawn, and as they say, how the tables turn. Ferg is unfortunately is out. So does Nitrich.
Yeah, it would appear that everything prior to this finish is academic, and it's all about just getting to that finish and securing it. I can expect those issues to maybe get ironed out as we get later on to the rounds. We see the more consistent players, but yeah, Yato with a really good middle of the map there. Obviously, he's falling down, so let's see if there's any weaknesses early for Yato, or if that was perhaps just one bad round. But was able to make up a ton of time in that one green left-hander. But we are seeing everyone there avoiding the pipe, so everyone is carrying enough speed. But yeah, Yato just seems to fall a little bit back early doors, and is having to make up that time. He's still comfortably, at the moment at least, within the safe zone. But we'll head back now to see what's happening at the back of the pack. The cutoff line is now at 14th. So if you're not 14th, you're not having fun. We're seeing a big battle there for 14th, but as long as both Laced and Neoranto are back here, that will purely be for bragging rights in this round. Let's see if anyone is able to keep things consistent, or are we going to see any issues as we come now into the final section? Not expecting there to be a tremendous amount of issues, and like we said, yeah, a lot more consistency here from those. And Laced and Neoranto will be going out 15th and 16th, and not a bad round, not a tremendous amount of issues coming, but still some time to be made up in the middle section for a lot of these drivers if they want to make those top 5 positions.
Exactly. Like the further we go, we have to expect, since the players are going out, people has to push more, and so we can see the time gaps closing to each other, and the cutoff times, just like the position amount, is gonna decrease. So let's see. On to the next round we go. As you said, the cutoff positions are now 12 instead of 14 since two people went out on the previous one, and we see a early mistake from N7 on that one, and finding himself on the red zone. So does Kappa Relay, but he is looking out of this race already. So we have to see the cutoff point on the 13th place. Yata is fighting for the zone to be in, let's say, N7 with a way better of a line. So we see Walshi also making a minor mistake there.
Ooh, Yatta.
Oh, Yata with the insane bump and giving his position to N7, and now he's having a hard time. Let's see if he has the pace to hit the risky. He does hit the risky. However, none of the players of 12 makes any mistakes whatsoever. And Caparele and Yata is outie.
Yep, that we see the top 13 there, all covered by ever so slightly less than 2 seconds, so a lot more consistent times. And Yata there, just having that one little wobbly moment coming off the jump, found himself rolling up that grass verge, and is now out. We will perhaps try and stay on board with N7. Shown himself to be a little bit inconsistent at the moment. We'll see if we're able to see some pace coming out of him, or if we are going to continue seeing that inconsistency. And he has dropped back quite considerably, has now really screwed up that section. Has found himself at the back now. Him and Cenas are the ones bringing up the rear. There is a full second ahead of them until they can get some safety. So we've got to expect that if they're going to find hope here, and someone just disappeared.
Yeah, you didn't. Your eyes don't lie to you. Someone is indeed disappeared, and a Cyan just dropping a good backflip. But we have seen Walshi also. I saw him doing a cool backflip, but he has to realize that this is not the stunt mode of Trackmania. Saving two players of N7 and CNS, and Walshi with a major respawn as well. Like, it was so behind. And out of nowhere, CNS and N7 finds themselves in the zone, and they're in top 10.
Yeah, that was what happened? I can't. I'm gonna go back and watch the VOD to figure out what happened. I just
Yes.
felt like he just disappeared.
Yeah, he just did a backflip on the turnover. That's what I
wow.
see. That's a cool
That's
trick, sir.
Yeah, no points for style, unfortunately. So we are now heading into the meat and potatoes, the top 10, where you really need to start putting in those consistent times. We've got a lot of people up the front. Now is probably the time where we need to start looking at how those players are doing at the front, and as if by magic, Hot Swat and Babs trading that first position back and forth within the sectors. We do see Veg is Cool and Jari Annie maybe dropping back a touch, but this is a much closer round across the board here, and
Yeah.
it will be interesting to see who is able to hold on. It does look like we've got a distinct group at the front, and we've just got this chasing pack, and at the moment, unless we see any issues, it looks like Jar, Ryan, IE, there we go, that's better now, I can see the
Oh,
capital.
Sinus with a full stop. Oi, oi, oi. That's a big, big blunder by him. And this will actually put himself onto the red zone. Oi, oi, oi. The full stop that you not want to make at all, since we are actually closing to the one knockouts as well. The mistake, let's say, room is decreasing by a margin, and one mistake and you're out. As you can see, the cutoff is 0.8 out of nowhere. The pace has been shrinked. And like 2-3 rounds ago, it was 3.5 seconds, and now it's 0.8. So you have to realize that you have to show the pace. Otherwise, the mod is waiting for you.
Yeah, no room at all now for any resets. No real room for any slight touches. It is all about consistent pace. Maybe it's worth for the next few rounds just holding off a touch, maybe not sending things to the edge of the corners as you normally do. But we are seeing now all of the field separated by just over a tenth of a second through the first couple of checkpoints. They're actually getting tighter as we continue deeper into this map. N7 bringing up the rear. We still have one more round of two to be knocked out in this, and then it will be down to those singular limbs. But we see not a lot of time being lost by anyone here, but Blue Barry does make a touch, so we'll be relying on two people up ahead to get a problem. Doesn't look like that is going to be on the cards. Veg is Cool bringing up the rear now on that cutoff point, on that bubble. Will he be able to make up this time in the end? Going slightly shorter, slightly more of an inside line hasn't helped a tremendous amount. We come into the finish. Everyone seems to get it. Killian does knock, but does find his way into the finish. And a good round there by just about everyone. And Blue Barry, with just one touch in the wall, has found himself eliminated along with Veg is Cool.
I swear Killian's heart rate went to 150 for a split second since he just barely made to the finish. But that was a really close of a round since it was 8 players and 2 people went out. The amount of players has been decreased right now enough to 1 player to go out. So the room of error will decrease if someone makes a mistake. So let's see. We can already see N7 with a major mistake. So other ones are gonna realize this, open their HUD, and they're gonna say to themselves, "All right, it's time to save." Unless one becomes greedy, and as I just said, that Babsify and Hot Swat, so does Killian, pushing that outside, battling for that podium places. Hot Swat opening the gap. He is very much aware, I'm sure, that N7 crashed, but he wants that. Let's say the first place, the joy.
Yeah, he's definitely got some time now in the bank with M7 being so far off the pack.
Exactly.
That being said, it's the ever-ending Trapmania esports conundrum of who knows, they might be playing with HUD off and have absolutely no idea what we're talking about and just be
Exactly.
driving their lines.
Exactly. Maybe they're on their like full focus zone, and let's say it's a Zen mode. You never open the HUD and just play your game. That's also what I do time to time. But yeah, on to the top 5 we go. We have let's say the stronger of the Irish players has remained right now. As I just said, a really early mistake from Speeder 47 has to take the safe route on that one, but we have seen Killian also making a mistake, losing a lot of momentum, leaves a lot of space to Speeder to catch him up. And Killian, out of nowhere, is finding himself racing with for the survival. Just as I said that, another mistake from Speeder this time around, finding himself clipping. But I'm assuming he was even unaware that he can catch up to someone. Let's look on what's happening on the front. This time around, we have seen Liffey also finding himself in between both of the, let's say, the participants for the win. But once again, we have seen Hot Swat on the lead, Babsify bringing this one home as well. So does Killian. And despite the early mistake that he did, Speeder 47 is unfortunately out, though.
Yep, we do see Speeder what came into this 6th overall, so has improved their sort of table ranking position in this round by 1 point. We are now into the top 4. We've got Babs, Hotspot, Killian, and Liffey. In theory, we should have been expecting N7 within this top 4 as they came into today's battle 4th. But we have still got 4 of the top 5 players making it to the top 4 of this first round. So we do now see Liffey and Killian at the back, but there is really nothing to separate any of these 4 cars at the moment. Just over 1.5 tenths. More than enough time to be made up in any one corner. We are seeing Hot Swat and Babs with ever so slightly different lines. I'm curious if that's a strategic choice or it's just to turn up and drive whatever line you have found yourself ending up with, depending on the speed that you get out of that previous corner. But now Liffey is slowly reining in Hot Swat. This would be one heck of a shock if Hot Swat goes out early. Babs will be looking to see the number stay grey on his car, but we're coming into the finish here, not expecting anything to be made up, and it's close, and Killian, it's out!
Oh no, he barely missed the hitbox. He was already struggling with the finish, but this time around, the finish balloon has popped, and this time around, he finds himself losing zero point 0.7 to Liffey and saves him for being out. What an unfortunate way to go out. He was like 0.4 behind, like, ay, ay, ay. So let's see if Liffey actually gonna use this chance to be in. And just as I said, that he was not accepting that he was in even. So struggling to comprehend that what happened to Killian, I assume, finds himself already almost 2 seconds behind. But what a great battle on up front there between Babsify and Hotswat. They are neck and neck, equal into the CP. Hotswat with way better entrance will generate more exit speed throughout the turn. Babsify losing some time. Let's see. Way better over entrance from this time around. Babsify will capitalize the time. Hotspot always using that inside drift. Puts himself on a way better of a position, jumps, and securing the first place with a nice time of 0.7, just barely slower, zero point 0.3 slower than the world record. But yeah, we have a final between Babsify and Hotswat. We'll see how it's going to shape up.
Yeah, it was always going to come down to these two if you took the sheet into consideration. And for the most part, we have seen consistency from them both, particularly in these rounds where you need to be even more consistent as that cutoff time gets closer and closer. It is now coming down to this in the first map that we are playing today. Babs ever so slightly behind, but every second can be made up quite easily. Coming into this checkpoint, Babs has clipped a wheel, I think, on the entrance to that block, so will find himself a solid 1.3 seconds down. Hotswat, if he knows what's good, will know that he's got the run out here to just bring it home. But like we said, no hot-off gamers. That can always cause an issue. So we are still going to have to wait and see if Hotswat is able to bring this home consistently. And so far, so good. Probably going to bring this one home.
Yeah, I think Babsify had the like in between clip bug. Like, what an unfortunate thing to have on, especially on top two. Yeah, yeah. An unfortunate moment that you have to like take care of. But Hotswat just bringing this one home. Oh, yo, yo, what a unfortunate thing, I might say.
Yeah, not ideal. Would be keen to get Bab's opinion
Mhm.
on what that slowdown was caused
Yeah,
by.
we
But
might ask.
as it says on the screen, Hotswat wins the map. We'll be taking first blood here in the 6 rounds of knockouts. I'm waiting to see if the sheet auto updates, and it does. So now we see Babs on 9 points, Hotswat on 23, and Killian on 45. Really is looking like a battle between Babs and Hotswat here for the overall victory, and we will keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on these points as we continue through. And I think what's quite interesting is that final podium position in the IOC. We've got Killian on 45 points, N7 on 49, and Liffey on 63. So we are expecting there to be some quite close finishes here, as I see. As I see the sheet getting edited before me, so that is that's good fun to see. I'm glad that we're staying on top of it. And next up, we've got Disco Peach, one of the only maps I can pronounce in this pack.
Same here as well. Disco Peach is a really tech-heavy map, and a small exception of Hotswat having the world record over Babsify due to this map being very drift-heavy. And we have seen Babsify being most of a all-rounder, and we have seen Hotswat is a tech genius, let's say, from the old days of the game. On this one, this is the map where Hotswat shines, I might say. But who knows? On the previous one, Babspy held the world record, but he didn't show the enough consistency over Hotswat. Maybe this time around, Babspy will do the same, just what Hotswat did on the previous one. So good luck to every participant right there.
So I hate to do maths on stream. It's never a good look. But from what I can tell, Babs is in control of his own destiny here. If he is just able to bring home a second place in every map, it looks like he will take IOC from Hotswat here. So we will keep an eye on that. We are expecting consistency out of these two, but it would be a surprise if they bring home 1 and 2 for the whole tournament. Hotswat is on an absolute tear at the beginning of this round, so is very much showing that that world record is well deserved. A solid 16 hundredths of a second already, 20 seconds in, although they are now closing up. We are seeing further back, obviously, you know, a bit more pace from some other people, but luckily nothing on the line here. Just a case of getting yourself warmed up. But I do think, again, Hotswat and Babs showing good pace. These warm-up rounds, while they might not mean much for the points, it's a bit of ego play here to just try and show that you're there or thereabouts.
I'm always thinking the other way. The better you perform on the rounds that have no impact, the worse you will perform. It always worked like me as in that way, because it feels like you feel drained once you push so hard, and seeing it work even, which is a 52.5, casually driving a top 5. And let's see if my theory is on point, since this just happened. My hotspot just full sent, I assume, and just dropped a casual top 5.
Yeah, that is pretty close. That is faster than all but 2 of the times, his own included, that we saw in the time attack rounds. Babs off to a bad start, but you've got to assume that with this many people in this round, he should be able to get it back, but it's never good to see that red number on the car, and a 21st place knockout here would be absolutely disastrous for Babs, but has now comfortably found himself back within these safe positions. But we will see Dave Squared and Neoranto at the back of the pack. Dave now fairly far off. We will have to assume that he's only going to be able to get this result in by an issue further up ahead. And as far as we can see, no issues to be had just yet from any of the other drivers. So we are now seeing Cenas, the sort of person on the bubble, but again, will be reliant on an issue to come from the others. But we are seeing Walshy now slowing up. Yata as well, by the looks of it, has had to reset. We're seeing quite a lot of difference here. What's going on? I think my game is being a bit laggy and I'm getting the wrong information. But no, Kappa, Riley, and Yata are out.
Oh, this round was kind of all over the place.
What happened?
Onto the one like the sideways CP, I saw three people crashing, and everyone probably thought, "Oh no, I am out," and everyone just seemed like they didn't try enough. And the less tried people were like Yata on that scenario. It seemed like, and Kappa Riley. Unfortunate for them. And also, Babsify making an earlier crash on that round kind of puts himself on a, let's say, a realization that, I need to save a little bit more since it's just the early round. Have to not show up. But just as I say that, hot swat, risking like there is no tomorrow and generating a lot of excess spin onto the lead, he goes. But as I said, on the earlier rounds of this kind of a cup mode, we have to look at what is happening at the back of the pack. We'll see afterwards what's happening on front, but we have actually a really close battle going on for this 17th place, and Dave Squared already finds himself on 16th, and then once again, the same plays. Everyone is just find themselves crashing. Nitrich, I think, already sealed his deal of going out. Cyan is just waiting for a mistake, and that mistake is indeed done by Dave Squared, but he does brings this one in, and half a second deficit brings this Cyan out. There you go.
That was some close stuff there. Dave almost lost it in the final run out to the finish, but we are seeing Nitric and Cyan out. I'm sure there's more to that name, but I have lost the leaderboard, so I can't see it. Give me one sec. Oh no, just dots. Just absolutely sending me with dots in the name. I love that. Gotta respect it. Now we're heading into find out who's going to make it into the top 16. One of the big break points for any knockout competition. It feels like getting in that top 16, top 8, all the way up to the top 3. So we are seeing some more consistent times. Dave Squared immediately off to a bad start here, getting some sort of issue, currently 1.4 seconds off the pace. Nearanto joining him, and there's all sorts of times being dropped here. Dave Squared having to do a pretty significant reset, so we will be jumping back further ahead. Watching now Demon Dragon, seeing if they are able to secure their position here in 15th will bring them through the round. Nearanto is a solid 2 seconds off the back now, so we'll be expecting there to be an issue. But we saw an issue there from Ferg. A reset from Ferg has now meant that he is now in 16th on that bubble. Most people getting through the checkpoint first, but, well, it's not the checkpoint you have to worry about. It's the road afterwards. Nearanto now is making a run out for 14th position, so we have seen an issue there from Walshy as well, and it is very difficult to keep track of what is going on, but we do see Walshy come in with 15th. Ferg and Dave Squared will be going out this round, regardless of the positions they finish. And yeah, lots of positions, and still a good run gets you in. It doesn't have to be great right now. We're still in good run territory. Exactly. One slight issue should work.
And yeah, we are starting into the zone, but yeah, so far the only big mistakes happen on that one sideways CP, and the road after puts every let's say player into the trouble. But on to the next round, as you said, it's the top 16 zone. The pace will get slightly higher and higher every round up there, and just as we said, that Veg is cool with a slight mistake, but still has a lot of room to catch up since this track is a little. Since this track still offers like 30 more seconds, and just as I said, that Vegas Cool already kept finding himself on the finding himself in. As we speak about that, Noranto finding himself respawning, and Bazoot this time around getting himself onto the 13th. Cenas is expecting a miracle from now on. Onto that one decisive part, as we said, once again, Bazoot misses the entire trajectory. Yeah, and the Cenas comes through, and now he's just saving himself right now. Let's see if he can bring this one home. And it looks really solid. Only one turn to clear out, and Cenas, as I just said, onto that sideways CP. So decisive. Saving one more person, and this is Cenas. And Bazoot and Neranto unfortunately goes out of this round. Oh yeah,
Yep, Nieranto deciding to DNF there at the end probably was either a touch too far away from the finish or just didn't want to continue that run knowing that they were going to be out. So we now are getting into closer and closer, getting into finding out who is going to be in our top 10. Now is when those good runs will have to come out. We're seeing a lot of people there getting the no airtime skip over that little bump, which is fun to see. We are now seeing more consistent lines from those left in. No tremendous issues from anyone just yet, except I say that and Demon Dragon has had to reset. So we do have our first person in the danger zone, and Ryan now is really struggling to get this turn made. So out of nowhere, Blue Barry also having an issue. This is very difficult to keep track of, but now he's found himself back up into 11th. I don't know what's going on anymore. Let's just follow on board with Blue Barry and wait to see if his number suddenly turns red. No, it seems comfortably now. Only had one issue, so has made it through the awkward sideways checkpoint. Mostly safe from here on out. We haven't seen a tremendous amount of issues from here. Does just have to bring it home in order to stick in 11th place and keep their position, and will do just that. Not the fastest run of all time, but gets it done.
I mean, so far as you said, it's quite a struggle to keep a track of it, since a map that is fully technical can pose any problem at any time. So you can find yourself respawning, and this can cause a struggle to keep track of. I can understand that. So far, we were watching a lot of at the back of the pack, but I think it's time to show some attention to what's happening on front. What are the paces we are talking about here? So let's look at one of the, let's say, crowd favorite, Hotspot. Starting finds himself on the middle on the first shift, but already shows a quality difference on the line and instantly overtaking 5 people, getting a little bit of bump on the dirt, and Vegas Cool finding himself on the lead at the moment. So does Speeder, overtaking Hotspot. Hotspot finds himself in a rivalry of 3 right now. The pack has been created between N7, Wake, and Hotspot at the moment. Speeder is also lurking on the shadows of the back. Generates the best exit speed and the superior line compared to the 4 at 5. Everyone is neck and neck out of nowhere, and Speeder is maintaining the lead. The gap is within 6 people within 0.1 at the moment. Vegas Cool forces himself wide. Speeder generating incredible amount of speed, and Hotspot is almost over sniping him, but 3000s deciding N7. What is happening on the front? Also a really high level, high octane rivalry going on the back of the pack. Killian finds himself out over Walshy, and only 700s deciding this.
Yeah, it was very close there for that 10th position, or rather for that 9th position, and that was so close. And that is a kind of an upset. Killian came in to this in 5th and went out in 10th place. That's a lot of points to be added on to your round here. Was 3rd last time out as well. No, 4th, sorry, last time out as well. So definitely not ideal in that battle for 3rd place to drop that many points coming in 10th, but yeah, it was very close at the back while still being very close at the front. And I must say, Speeder and Veg is cool. Had a good round last time out, but now Veg is currently in last place. N7 was previously in that hot seat, but is clawing it back. It's incredibly close there. We'll jump on board with N7 if we can. And has found himself now back into the safe zone while she has had an issue. So there is now consistency here for the rest of them to bring it home. Most make it through the sideways pretty well. Lazed has lost a little bit of speed, but has a nice half a second gap to Veg. So unless there is another issue, Veg has also touched. So unless there's another issue for those in front, we'll be seeing Veg and Walshy go out here. N7 makes a run out for the final turn and makes it through. So Veg and Walshy, after I was singing Veg's praise for their performance in the last round, has gone out in 8th and 9th. And a little bit of cup of the day fever. I have it a lot, where you win a round or you do well in a round and then you're immediately out in the following one.
Exactly. What a disappointing thing to have, performing on your prime and then finding yourself on last and expecting for a miracle, but that miracle never comes either. We all been there before. So does Wedge for the previous round, but this one right here is a really important round, since 2 players knocking out, but the amount of players is also low. So this is the last round with 2 players going out. So you have to push one level further where you at. Just as I said, that Blueberry finds himself turtling on that CP, and he just sealed the deal of him going out. And again, Lace does the same backflip, but Blueberry did. And Speeder as well has to respawn.
What is going on?
They're just putting himself and over pushed maybe. So far 3 respawns, and Laced is the one who did the less mistakes compared to other 2. Oh yeah.
But Lays now does have to bring it home. Has fairly comfortably got these last couple of checkpoints in the bag. And Blue Barry with another issue, perhaps performing slightly worse than we would hope, but did come in to this this event 8th by the looks of it, or 10th. I can't tell. I'm now lost in the spreadsheet. I'm not going to try to do maths, but was expected to be in and around this position. So overall, not a tremendous issue there, but Lay's showing some confusion as to how they survived with that issue. But now we are comfortably within the single elimination, so we will just be seeing one go. N7 now, the one at risk, let's say, through recent rounds, showing a little bit of inconsistency and dropping off. But overall, not a tremendous amount of confusion over who's here last in the end. We've just lost Killian, and we have lost Speeder from who we perhaps expect to see higher up. But Lays did come in 7th and is still doing a good job. But we have seen now Babs with an issue that could become very, very testy. But Babs, and we've proper flipped. Is going to have to reset. We'll have to rely on someone up ahead having an issue. Babs just repeatedly ramming a checkpoint, not having a good time as well. 10 seconds off the pace now, so unless someone has an internet issue or a controller issue, I think they can bring it home using their mouse, their keyboard, whatever they have around them. And Babs will be going out in 5th place in this round, and like I was mentioning, just had to come 2nd to secure the championship, but at the moment has dropped a tremendous amount of plates, as I do believe that will be 9 points added to his total by the end of this round.
And Hotspot will definitely benefit from that situation. He is more than aware. Every round he survives turns into his advantage as well, you know?
That is true, and Babs will be up to 18 points now. If Hotspot wins this round, if he wins this whole map, rather, he will be on 24, and the distance between them will only be 6, which is more than surmountable by a Hotspot over these last couple of maps. So it will be very interesting. Hotspot needs to be better than better, more perfect than perfect, and bring home that 1st position. We've still got the matter of 4th, 3rd, and 2nd to dish out first, and Lays is falling off the back here, is overperforming where you'd expect them coming into this round, and hopefully they can try and make up some of these positions. And yeah, battling now with N7 and Fluffy for that knockout spot while Hotspot drives off into the distance. Liffey having a bit of an issue, but it is really not a tremendous amount between them all. Liffey 2/10 off the back, but still within attacking range, still within range of capitalizing on a mistake. Lays somehow dropped a load of time there in the transition and is now finding himself in the issues. N7 and Liffey and Lays all made it through, and it is a run out now to the end. All of them separated by less than 1/10 of a second. It is incredibly close, but Lays probably won't be able to make this time up unless he gets a great finals corner and finds himself out by just over 0.5 of a second.
I was looking at Hotspot's pace. I was expecting a really good time from that CPs, but he forced himself wide on the last finish. I was, let's say, a little bit shocked, like what kind of a time he was driving, but I assume he lost a lot of time and ended up driving a 0.9. Still an incredible time of like top 12, beating some of the players. Oh, yo, just as I said that, Liffey with the early mistake. Cannot even talk about the Hotspot space that we have, and the Hotspot this time around clipping, giving Liffey some opportunity, and Liffey does indeed catch up, and out of nowhere we have a huge rivalry going on. Hotspot finding himself on the red zone, going a little bit more wider. Liffey has chance to overtake and increase the gap. Hotspot has to push like there is no tomorrow. The gap is right now less than 0.2. Hotspot do indeed approaching to the destination where Liffey is. Liffey is running, and 7 is also losing a little bit of pace compared to the back of the pack right now. Hotspot indeed pushes like there is no tomorrow, but Liffey also maintains and controls his car. Closes at least 0.3, 0.4, but finds himself at 3rd place, and Babs is like, today I am blessed.
Yeah, very much saved by the bell on that one. Hotspot coming in with a 3rd place, and we have got the 2 people you'd expect if Hotspot and Babs were out to be bringing out the final round, and that is Liffey and N7 currently find themselves in 3rd and 4th. This will not decide who comes 3rd after this round. That is still going to be comfortably N7 no matter what happens, but it will set them up nicely for the final rounds here in the Irish Open Cup. Immediately, Liffey off to a better start than N7. N7 has found an issue, but is well within striking range. Liffey now touches the outside of the checkpoint, has lost a little bit of time, will struggle to regain that. Takes more of an inside line. One of the benefits of coming in a little bit slower is you don't necessarily have to take that higher line. Has regained some of this pace within a 10th now. It's getting closer and closer. A really good drift there. Now has found himself ahead. N7 back in the 2nd position, having to hunt down let's just say perhaps that's where they thrive, as we have seen them having to fight back both in IOC and BIPL at times. But we are now seeing the final run out to the finish. It is incredibly close, N7 with a very good central line, but Liffey seemingly has brought it home. And less than half a tenth between it, but Liffey will be the victor in map 2, and N7 coming in second place with some good times, but ultimately consistency bringing it home for the two of them.
Exactly. What a great comeback by Liffey, despite the clip on the outside of the CP. And 7 is like, it feels in the safe zone, but Liffey final actually, coming back from a small crash. I love to see that.
Yep, there's a beauty in a final round going to world record pace. You know, when you just see perfection on display between two Trackmania competitors. But it's equally as important, or equally as worth valuing, is how they can overcome adversity. If they make a mistake early, are they able to keep their head on? We see plenty of times in Cup of the Day Div 1 where the final round will be solved by someone having an issue and then not being able to focus and that going further down. And I do believe the first time now we will be coming to ice this on this day, and I'm not the biggest ice guy, let's say. What's your thoughts on ice?
I am, let's say, feeling good on ice, especially keeps it cool. And as I said, feeling comfortable. And this is my favorite map of the pack so far. I will say the name of it, Cambrat. Sorry if I butchered it too much, but as I said, this is my favorite map, and I do believe we will expect some mistakes on this one. This is probably the hardest map to be consistent of, but once you feel the track, I am sure we can see some great battles going on. But
What I
after
love
the
about the Irish names for these maps is that ultimately you can probably say, oh yeah, Irish and Welsh are very similar in that it's just a load of consonants and you have no idea how you're meant to pronounce anything because there's no vowels. Yet somehow they're different consonants. Wales obviously full of W's and L's and all that sort of jazz, but we're seeing Irish with just a smattering of N's and H's. So no idea how I'm meant to pronounce that. We're just going to persevere. I appreciate you gave us a swing at that. But we are now on to the warm-up. A very green and gold map. I just want to put out Ice is RNG. That's all I'm saying. Someone said it once on a BIPL broadcast, and I can't help but agree with them. And we are seeing now some consistency up at the front in this warm-up round. But Babs will be looking to strike back a little bit. Did get a somewhat of a get out of jail free card in that last round, but is only 10 points to the good. So will need consistency from here on out. Can, I believe, still find his way in second in all of these rounds and win. But all it takes is one bad map, and we've already seen one of them. Are there more to be had? And I absolutely love this finish. This is chaos. I have a feeling we're going to see some pretty insane final runs, and might even suggest to Padster that we do a third-person cam for this finish in the early rounds.
Even though we have like the finish looks so innocent, the biggest issue is not the place of the finish. Like the biggest issue is beforehand you bounce on the water, so you have wet tires. So the control on your car is not easy as it looks. Trust me, you might have to try it. It's harder than it looks, and as you just mentioned, we will just see some chaos at the end of this track, and I am more than certain that it's gonna occur.
Reminds me of the identities in World Tour Stage 1 and 2, where it just felt like absolute chaos, and particularly in was it Aero Pipes, where most of the map was trivial. It all just came down to that. We are seeing an absolutely insane line from Hotspot there, just coming out of absolutely nowhere to take the lead. We're seeing a bonk early. I can't spot who that was by, but Yatta and Dave are at the back with red numbers on the back of their cars. They are having to hunt down. There's a lot of time to be made, like we mentioned. There's also a lot of time to make a
Full
finish.
stop. Sinus with a full stop, and lets Yata already overtake him, and is making so much mistake. And if this goes like that, Yata will definitely seal the spot by being in on the first round. An unfortunate mistake at the first one, but finally capitalizes. But on to the ending, as you said before, there's gonna be a chaos, and nothing has been decided yet. So we're gonna watch. Everyone is finishing without any issue. Let's see, Cyan is just saving his way, not even bothering to risk. So does Neoranto, but Caporale,
What is happening?
what is he doing? Oh no.
Who are we? What?
Caporale overtaking Sinus, and he's in! Holy guacamole! Barely checks him out. Oh
That
my,
was
just as you
incredible.
said. What a bloodbath of a finish this was. Scene is barely out. Oi, oi, oi.
That was incredible. Nightbot is so confused it's still giving us the BIPL information in the chat. I don't know what happened there at the end. I felt like we were on Yato watch to see if he was able to fight back, and then he came like 8th, it felt like, by the time we got to the end of that. Who knows what we're going to be in store for the rest of them. I must say, this does look like the map with the least amount of consistency from the pack, as we saw all sorts of lines and issues. Speedster here, sending it into the checkpoint, will be gone forevermore. But now we're on board with Demon Dragon, who is sort of in the middle of the pack, but no, has had to reset. Everyone's resetting. I don't know who we're following anymore. I just want to see more of that ending, so I guess we'll just wait until we get there.
Yeah, this and oh, Liffey is turtling away in a second. That is not something you want to do in this particular track, and so does Hotspot is finding himself on the yellow part. This is all over the place. One is being 14th and one is being 15th. So does Speeder is 16th, and Nitrich almost overtaking him, but finds himself flying out. But nothing is decided. On to the ending we go.
Finish.
Yeah.
Will we
Oh,
see
Vegas
from
cleaning.
Hotspot does well.
Liffey is also cleaning this one out. So does Speeder. Oh, no big mistakes from anyone. This can go wrong for like the top contenders. You can see one being 14th and other being 15th. They are on the edge. Oh, as you said, this is a map that it's really difficult to be consistent.
Yeah. I. So let's consider this. If you're having to compete in this map, and let's say you just want a comfortable top 8, do you bother practicing any of the map other than the finish? Because seemingly a lot of time is found in the finish by actually just doing it first time round, or at least just knowing to give up and go to the safer finish.
I would love to just give up the time and like be aware of the situation, but you know, greed is what human has. And I don't know if I can tell to myself no, and I would most likely go to risky and how to respawn and probably go out in top 18 already.
Yeah, the safe finish doesn't seem a tremendous amount more time in the grand scheme of things. I do wonder if that's just much
Exactly.
better for these early rounds. We've seen people go out that perhaps didn't need to, could have just gone safe. But I guess we'll see as this continues. We are now Speedster and Neoranto are at the back of the pack. Demon Dragon is the one on the bubble, is going higher, is now being overtaken by Speedster, so it is incredibly close. But we do come into this ending. Demon Dragon and Speedster. Lay's with an issue, and Lay suddenly finds himself in the last charts, and it's no
Putting himself in.
Veg, Neoranto, what's going on?
As I said, the angle once you bounce out puts you in a really confusing position. So you have to easily judge what I have to do. Do I go risky? Do I go safe? But if you end up like this, yeah, you can see yourself go out, which is such an unfortunate thing. But yeah, it's still, I'm not sure if we can still call this, you know, on the previous maps we were calling the player amount is shrinking, so the cutoff point of going out is gonna decrease. I'm not sure for this one is an exception, let's say.
Yeah, I do wonder how far you could get into this map, and I guess we'll find out by being just 4 seconds off the pace. Like, just consistently 4 seconds at the moment, you would still be in. I think we've seen all of our cutoff times in excess of that. So, yeah, this might be one of the high variance maps. We're seeing a lot of issues there by those running at the back. A lot of time lost somewhere that you're not necessarily expecting that time loss to be had. Seeing a big yeet, always love a big yeet on a map, killing there, touching the outside. Yasha quite far off the back, is now on the bubble, just needs one person up ahead of him to have an issue, and that issue may very well come to him with the nature of this map. Speeder is closing in on those ahead of him, but it will all come down to this finish. We so far have not seen any issue. Speeder very wobbly. Bazut going left and right. Everyone all over the place, but we do see everyone over the line. Demon Dragon over the line. Yasa is struggling with the finish. Frey, Ferg, even coming in 13th, and Yasa coming in 14th. And it is worth noting that due to the scoring, the way you finish, if you're on the bubble, if you're one off staying in, or if you are comfortably dead last, will have an impact. There's 2 points to be made in these cutoffs, and we do see now Yata going out, and that was an inquisitive noise. Was that a good time by any chance in the round?
I was just about to mention that the Hotswat's time at first. The 52.9 he just dropped. So basically, if you see a sub 53 in this map, you can consider that a nice time because only and only 9 people achieved this coveted time, let's say.
Yeah, just looking at the information here, there's a ton of variance in this time, and we've seen Caporali with a hard reset there. No, just a soft reset, but a hard time being had. We go on board as well with Ryan, and they are now hunting down those ahead. Demon Dragon has found himself in that elimination zone a lot in this round. Again, consistently struggling on this map, but will probably find himself out now. Caporali will have to try and make up this time in the end. How will those ahead do? Ryan going for the safe finish. Will that be
Laced with
enough
the respawn.
time? Lays
Laced
having
this,
to respawn.
yeah.
I think that's over. No, still
Yeah,
got
that's
time
over.
to
That's over.
finish.
That's over.
No, it is over. Sorry, my mistake. And Lays
Oh.
and Demon Dragon out this time around. Demon Dragon yet to finish. We'll just do it for the morale's sake. Comes in 20 seconds behind the pace. And like I said, a 4-second average round, you'd still be in. So you'd have made it to the top 10.
Like this, I don't know why they cannot say no to, let's say, the eager to not go risky finish. Like as you mentioned, the time loss is not even that major. As you just said, once again, a 4-second delta would probably put you on a safe position. So why bother losing 16 seconds by respawning 3 times? I wonder. But yeah, we cannot judge. They are here to try their best, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of confusion in the chat as well. Everyone seems to just feel like maybe going for the safer finish would be the right move. We've seen Babs on the bubble here, coming in 8th place at the moment. Will have to make up some time if he wants to be sure of his safety. Let's see if he chooses to go for that safe finish or if he's very consistent, because we are now really seeing our first couple of rounds where we have the front riders, drivers even. And Babs with an issue there coming into the final section. This is a lot of speed that he's lost coming in here.
Babs Hotspot as well on the red. We have a problem. Hotspot is also... Yeah, Babs is going to the save. Hotspot missing the finish. Babsify barely in. Caporali and Hotspot this time around. Babs is probably, enjoying his time at this point. And Hotspot finds himself on the 10th place. This is going to be an open up on the gaps, isn't it?
Yep, 19 points then Hotswat will take from this map. We started building the narrative last time out when Babs went out super early. I say super early, still had a pretty, commendable effort, but still found himself going out early last time out. But now we see the same thing with Hotswat, and it's going to come down to how well can Babs punish that issue. Obviously still has points in the bag, came in 10 points to the good, is currently 29 points to the good for that first place, but does need to secure this finish, is doing exactly what he needs to do here at the start, but has found himself slowly falling backwards towards those points, but is making up more of that time as we get in towards the middle section. And is that a bonk from Babs?
Exactly, it is a bonk from Babs. I was just about to say he has to be aware about the situation and save his way. But once again, just like the previous now, he's finding himself on the yellow zone, the bubble, as you said. So Jarian is waiting for, again, a smallest mistake will definitely benefit him and make him catch up. But onto the identity we go. Let's say if Babs if he's going to clear this one up. I see everyone is clearing this one, and Babs is going to the risky. And almost goes out because of that behavior. The gap closed by 2.1 even. That was so close.
That was very close. Unless he knows, I mean, maybe they've done their practice going in and they know the time difference. And if you look and you see, oh, I've got 4/10, I can just very comfortably go straight through. But that was very close. We were a 10th away from another compelling finish there with Babs and Hotswat almost both going out one after the other. But we are now comfortably into the single elimination rounds. We've got the sort of names you'd expect. Blue Barry going for a slightly deeper run this time out. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm not familiar with who in the Irish community is good on ice. I imagine anyone left is probably the answer to be had. As we see now, Speeder in that elimination zone is struggling to keep up with those ahead. Blue Barry, has found an issue, so Speeder now comfortably into that bubble. Blue Barry, a 10th down. And I think we saw perhaps someone going
Babs
slow.
is
Blue Barry with a
struggling.
really tough section. Babs lost a load of speed. Blue Barry now ahead. Babs is really struggling. And this could be an absolute disaster for Babs. Red number on the back of the car is danger. Has some time to be made up, but we'll have to go for the risky finish to come in through to the end. Everyone else seems to be doing quite okay. As we go into the end, we're seeing a couple take the risky finish, most taking the safe, and Babs is going to find himself eliminated in 6th.
Oh. So I do believe Babs didn't punish what Hotspot did there, like the way he expect. I know this is such a difficult map to be consistent, but I think Hotspot ended up on 10th place. So how is it gonna look like on the points? I wonder.
Yep, so that difference now between P1 and P2 is 18 spots, 18 points. Babs has got 29 points as we speak. Hotswat has got 47. And it's worth noting, we came into this with Babs on single digits, I believe it was 6, and Hotswat really not that far off. So this knockout format is really punishing these drivers who previously had done a really great job in time attack. So it's not about the raw pace. It is all about the consistency. And immediately we see Speeder now falling off the back of the pack and just taking a breather, having a moment for themselves. So it is fairly trivial what happens up ahead, but it will set us up for a very interesting finish. We are seeing Blue Barry going a little bit deeper than perhaps we were saying, like I mentioned last round, but we got the names you'd expect to see this late on. And yeah, let's see what people are doing. I mean, obviously there's no pressure this round. You can probably go for the risky finish to practice. And now's the question, do you start going for the risky finish or do you keep going for the safe finish?
I would love to start to like push the limits at this point, because the people like my rivals are gonna become how do you call this, a daredevil. They're gonna push like there is no tomorrow. So we need to equalize it by going risky and pushing the limits and see who has a higher ceiling of skill. So at this point, I might say consistency is not the primary role, especially on such map, because we know that those four will, perform. So let's see who is gonna perform the best. As I just said, that N7 with a not the greatest start, getting a little bit of a nose slide, and the gap between him being in and out is more than 0.2 at the moment. Blueberry making a major mistake, and from first place to last place. As I just said, the consistency is not important. I was lying. Okay, now we can tell. Like, consistency was indeed the key.
Let's hope we've got some HUD on gamers here and they know they can all take the safe route. N7 going for the risky, perhaps, is getting it and has shown some consistency there. We did see N7 made up a spot in that finish on Liffey. Liffey was about a tenth ahead, maybe half a tenth. And obviously there is pace in that risky finish, otherwise it wouldn't be there. But Blue Barry now out in 4th position. A good map for Barry. May not be as blue now as they were previously, but we are now heading into the top 3. It is going to be 2 more rounds and we will be able to crown our map winner. We've got N7, Liffey, and Killian, and I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of red on the back of N7's car because I do think that's where they're most comfortable.
When I look into the leaderboards, I can see, maybe you might guess, oh, N7 has the worst pace among all of them at the moment, but it's safe to say Liffey apparently has the worst pace on the track, statistic-wise. And as you said, we don't trust statistics in here, and we'll see.
The stats go out the window in the top 3. It's all about what we see ahead of us. And N7 is currently red numbers on the back of the car, 2/10 down on Liffey. Has now bonked the outside. Will we see Liffey and Killian bring it home? Probably not too much time to save here, particularly if you're going to go for the safe finish. They're running out now. Final checkpoint being taken. It is all about that run to the finish. Liffey and Killian both had a slight look, and Liffey going for that risky finish, so choosing to practice that run. N7 also, I believe, went for the risky finish and wasn't able to make the time up. But Liffey and Killian, it is all down to these two, and it's going to be very intense. I feel like we might see one of them take the safe finish.
I will say, let's say onto the situation. It's all about, once again, the awareness. They're gonna look into their they're gonna look into their HUD, I hope, and do the right call, because this is one of the maps where it's drive to survive type thing, and we have seen Killian onto the ice losing a lot compared to Liffey. And from first place to finding himself 0.1 behind, and even more due to the release that he just did. Oh wait, I was just about to say capitalizing, but this time around, Liffey finds himself half a second behind. Let's see if he can clear the jump even. Yes, he does. So maybe still a little bit of a chance, but point 0.8 is not an easy task to close up. Gives up the gear. Onto the drift he goes, does superior lines compared to him. Actually, no, the gap is even increasing more, but Killian this time around confuses himself onto the bobsleigh and does a 180. Let's see if Liffey can clear this one up, and indeed, Liffey finds himself on the first place. Killian did end up at the left side of the bobsleigh. Did not find the correct entrance, most likely. Very unfortunate for him, but Liffey will definitely take that one off to his pocket, and Killian is out.
Yeah, that was that round's not going in any museums. Wasn't perhaps the best going from any of our players there, but does mean that we've got some interesting rounds ahead. To go back to, like I was mentioning, as we cut to a wonderful spreadsheet. And like I was mentioning, we've got 29 points, Babs, Hot Swat on 47. N7 is sniffing at that second place. I don't think we're going to see that point difference of 28 points between himself and Babs fall. But if he continues bringing in these top 3 positions, top 4 finishes, we might see that come through. And we've seen as we scroll across now in this this section, the only person to finish consistently on the podium this time out has been Liffey with a 3rd and 2 first places. A long way to go till first place, but might sneak into a podium finish in the overall championship. And yeah, Epos, his brain has stopped working. Obviously, he's had too many ciders today. Not in the hot weather this time, so maybe that was the secret. But yeah, this is very interesting. So we're gonna have a break now for 15 minutes. I'm not sure I've got 15 minutes worth of material to stall, so I have a feeling we're gonna go to a comfort break for all involved, and a very good opening section. How are you feeling about those first 3 maps?
The maps were definitely like, let's say 3 maps, 3 different characteristics. I must say, one being pace based, other being super technical, other being drive to survive. But among all of them, I can see, as you said, like Liffey has, even though a long way to make up some positions, it feels like it's a day for Liffey. I have seen him have the pace, have the consistency compared to other ones. So why not, sneak up that podium places? Let's go.
Yep, as Padster has put us back on cams just to keep us on our toes. Liffey has only gained 7 spots today, 7 points.
Oh, 7
That
points.
is quite remarkable. We're
Exactly.
looking at Babs is currently at 23. We've got Hot Swat, who is currently at 25, and Liffey with 7. Now, like I mentioned, probably not going to be able to fight for that first position, but will be able to do a much better showing in these knockout rounds than Time Attack, and this is where it really comes to fruition. We do have a couple players who've had to dip, so Walshy will be the last we see of them, so they'll be taking home 21st in all the remaining rounds. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. And I think we're going to a break.
I'll be staying outside, yeah, so I don't think about life, yeah. Can you send me a light, 'cause I can take it, I can take it. You got me feeling alright, yeah. Every day by your side, yeah. Can you send me a light, 'cause I can take it, I can take it. I don't wanna think about it every day. You know that you kinda wanna feel the same way. So much time, you just had to pretend. I've been so lost, I just wanna run away. Run away right now. I gotta go, I'm wasting my attention. You've been on my mind, I could touch the sky. So lost, I'll be running up and down, trying to think about you all the time. I don't really need to apologize. I know, I feel like it. I'll be staying outside, yeah, so I don't think about life, yeah. Can you send me a light, 'cause I can take it, I can take it. You got me feeling alright, yeah. Every day by your side, yeah. Can you send me a light, 'cause I can take it, I can take it. intoxicated, I'm a waste. Hoping I can drown the sorrows, but I love that bitter taste. So I'm addicted to you. Visions of you. Come closer, 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 closer. Come closer, 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 closer. Visions of you. Intoxicated, I'm a waste. Hoping I can drown the sorrows, but I love that bitter hoping that I'll make it tomorrow, but right now I can't feel my face. I'm intoxicated, I'm a waste. Hoping I can drown the sorrow, but I love that bitter taste. Visions of you. Come closer. Nine and I can't see straight. I'm hoping that I'll make it tomorrow, but right now I can't feel my face. I'm intoxicated, I'm a waste. Hoping I can drown the sorrows, but I love that bitter taste. Visions of you.
Keep the music going.
You've been on my mind. I could touch the sky. Starlights, I'll be running up and down, trying to think about you all the time. I don't really need to apologize. I know, but you like it. I'll be staying outside, yeah, so I don't think about life, yeah. Can you tell me a lie? 'Cause I can't take it, I can't take it. You got me feeling alright, yeah. Every day by your side, yeah. Can you tell me a lie? 'Cause I can't take it, I can't take it. Intoxicated, I'm a waste. Hoping I can drown the sorrows, but I love that bitter taste. So I'm addicted to it. Visions of you. Come closer, 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 closer. Come closer, 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 closer. Visions of you. Intoxicated, I'm a waste. Hoping I can drown the sorrows, but I love that bitter taste. I can't see straight. I'm hoping that I'll make it tomorrow, but right now I can't feel my face. I'm intoxicated, I'm a waste.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural Irish Open Cup.
When forever finally
Irish Open Cup returns for summer 2022.
No more fights to pick up the pieces.
The tech section a little bit wrong for Babs, and right now it will be Babs who has to risk. Will Fishy risk as well? Fishy doesn't risk! Fishy doesn't risk it!
Going to be the risk of it. It's going to come down to it. Walshy both get the nose slide. Oh my goodness, but Walshy goes for the respawn. Hotspot, does he have the speed? He does not. Oh my god, what is this?
Juna will have more speed as they head towards it. It'll be purely neck and neck. Just comes down to the book slide. Who has it better? Juna looks like maybe no. Babs pulling away.
Hotspot will finish as he started this competition. Another first place.
back. Welcome back to the final 3 maps of the Irish Open Cup, and I just want to draw attention to the fact that Nua's not here because he's ill, and it opens with a black and white video of Nua. I thought he died again for like the 4th time in Trapmania community lore, but no, that was just a hype video for this tournament that we are playing through, and the first 3 maps were absolutely killer, no filler indeed, and what are we thinking is going to happen for the rest of these rounds?
I expect more chaos due to the maps getting progressively more difficult. Let's say not chaos, but like historical comebacks of some players, some upsets exactly.
Some
Call-
upsets might be had. And looking at the map we've got queued up, there are so many tunnels here. They might end up in the UK, in Britain, by the time they get to the end of this round. We're seeing a lot of I love tunnels in the chat, so safe to say, perhaps not a fan favorite. But we are looking forward to seeing how this pans out. So we're going to be getting into the map soon. We are at the end of our 15-minute break, which did not require a cut to the casters in order to restart the music. That is all a conspiracy. And I just want to, if we can, bring up the table, because first time round, we brought the table up, a lot of confusion in Twitch chat, and honestly, I feel it. I understand it. I can see where you're coming from here. So let's bring it back up. Right, so here we've got a lot of data, arguably too much data, one might say. So I'm going to ask production if they can just press Control Plus a few times. This is where I miss having a live feed. And we're just going to zoom. We're going to enhance, right? We're going to keep enhancing until we just see those top 7 and their points. Because all that matters is what's in that total points column. Here we go. Perfect. Love it. Giving up the secret of how we put everything together here. But total points is what we're after here, right? This is what's going to crown our champion. Babs is currently 18 points to the good. That is 9 positions overall that he can fall to Hotswat. I'm not sure what the tiebreaker is. Don't ask. And but we are seeing, like we mentioned, time attack. We came in with Babs, Hotswat, and N7 very comfortable. But through this knockout, there we go. Liffey is currently leading the charge. Blue Barry is overperforming, and we're seeing Babs, Hotswat, and N7 slightly down on where they should be. So Liffey's probably not going to make a chart. There's a lot of points to be made up there, but N7 is within striking distance should Babs and Hotswat have a bit of a blunder, but we are expecting it to just come down to Hotswat and Babs. And so far, it is not a game of heroes. It is not a game of champions. It is a game of who can make the least mistakes, and they're competing a bit too strong.
Yeah, apparently I can also see like there is like a few opportunities that a few players can strike for. For example, I can see this second and third place being vulnerable by Hotspot right there. But as you just mentioned, also Hotspot battling it out with Babs. So even though it looks, you know, especially on the first and second place, kind of far away, you don't know what will happen. I mean, the previous match kind of showed what can happen in case of points. So I expect nothing but like this getting more and more closer, to be honest, onto the next matches we go.
Yep, will be interesting to see. We are now heading into the next round in the warm up. Now we'll be expecting it to all go live over on other people's Twitch channels. We do have the Trapmania World Championship wildcard, which we'll be throwing to after this. So no need to go anywhere just yet. We will we'll send you there on your merry way once we have finished with IOC. And yeah, into the warm-up, as I was saying, a lot of tunnels. I can't stress enough how many tunnels there are on this map. I feel like it's a recent addition to Trapmania, these tunnels.
Yeah,
but I'm a big fan. It sort of it forces consistent lines, which historically is tricky to do in maps. And I'm curious to see how we see the players navigate that, because it's safe to say they didn't navigate the sideways checkpoint very well.
And also, like at the end of the end of the track, we can call it an identity. Even like it's you have setups, you can save it, you can risk it, just like what identity offers to you in Trackmania World Tour ecosystem. We go. But onto the no KO round, gonna be a good way to shove off. It seems like the map is wide, you can do whatever you want type of thing, but no, trust me, you have very limited, let's say, projectiles that you can make on this track, even though it looks wide and, it's all good and stuff, but onto this identity, you don't want to lose too much, let's say, momentum without crashing. As you see, half of the players right now just chilling probably, but gives a little bit of a perspective to how it looks like, and onto the risky finish that made out of ends up with a, let's say, a cherry on top of a speed check.
Yeah, warm-up round now in the bag. The risky finish doesn't look like a tremendous amount of time, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some safe finish enjoyers, particularly in the early rounds. It does feel fairly trivial, considering I think we're just going to see a lot of issues to be had at these tunnels. And it would be interesting to see if we see any punishing or any threatening rather of the world record in any of these rounds, or if people are just going to be looking to save. But I mean, we saw on board with Hotspot there in the warm up, wasn't massively offline, but immediately had to reset on that tunnel.
Yeah, as I said, like it can be all over the place. Like especially the ending part of the track can be really decisive in case of mistakes, and also the speed you generate, the projectile, the line you take. Yeah.
Reset by Dave. Sorry, Dave falling back now. We are seeing Kyan. Apologies, I'm almost definitely butchering that pronunciation, but Dave is also in the back. Dave has slowed up quite considerably. Nieranto is on the bubble. Kyan is looking to make that time up. There is a lot of time to be had as we get into this identity, so who knows, this may all be for naught. We're seeing another reset there by Dave, firmly in the knockout position unless serious conundrums start happening up ahead. Nieranto really struggling with that transition, and the first tunnel is going to have to reset. Dave comes through. We're seeing all sorts of resets happening now as we go ahead. Tunnels causing quite considerable issues, and like I imagine, this is going to be incredibly hard to cast because I have no idea where everyone is, but it looks like we're going to be seeing Nieranto and Dave struggle here in the final, and maybe Kai? No, goes for the safe finish, and Nieranto and Dave E2 will find themselves out early, and that was chaos. Actually, I don't know how else we can really spectate that because people are all over the place.
Also, spotlight that Hotspot draw banger time of 54.8 translates into 6th place on online. If we exclude boss bets on the leaderboards, actually top 5 on the Irish leaderboard, which is only 0.5 away from the current world record, again held by Hotspot. Can definitely show off that what he is capable of. It's not only a time, it's also the consistency he can pull off right there.
Yeah, immediately we're seeing some issues there for some of the early corners. I believe that was Nitric and Hotswat actually with a bit of an early issue. We're not imagining he's going to be under too much of a threat with a touch early on, but it's worth keeping an eye on that as we get later into these rounds. We are seeing some fairly consistent driving by those at the front. Babs and N7 currently trading that first position, but Hotswat now back into 13th position, now back into 12th position, into 9th position. Oh my days, we must have had some resets up ahead. And Bazut and Lays. Lays currently, don't think has moved from the start, so we'll move on from that. Bazut having an issue here as well, quite far off the back of the pace, so we will be expecting everyone to come home fairly safely and consistently, and we will be dropping some drivers off the back here that were perhaps not having a great round. And who knows what's happened to Lays? Maybe Lays' computer has died like yours did at the tail end of those opening rounds.
Who knows, but a really unfortunate way, a very good way to go out. Definitely not a good thing to have, at least, what I can tell.
And it would appear that that was a computer crash. So we now jump on board with Lays, who probably isn't going to make the finish from here.
I don't think so. We'll see. Oh, unfortunate.
And we may be having some admin questions. Technically, we can reset if we think that Lays is going to be able to fix that issue. We're only we're less than 3 rounds in. So it looks like we will be seeing a reset. So I say, Pasta, you show the wonderful people at home our lovely faces, and then we'll jump back into the table because I have a feeling that we're going to have an issue as that crash was on round 1. So welcome back. Welcome back to our lovely faces.
Intermission, we go. But yeah, as I just mentioned, it's gonna go, let's say, more of an upset from here, and it kind of proved my point because, for example, hotspot crashing and end up almost in third place, etc. This is gonna be happen from now on, though. If you know what you're doing, if you know what you're capable of, the one is gonna start to shine like that. Let's say.
Yeah, definitely. And we will now be getting a reset in. I assume
Oh.
we will also be resetting into a warm up. That is correct indeed. So we are a minute away now from this round restarting. Did see some early, so let's just check in on some of those narratives. Some of those storylines that we have building up. We did see some issues out of Hotspot early on this round, albeit we saw 2 rounds. But there was an issue, and that is of note, particularly in those early rounds where the pressure is not really on you. You'd be expecting these guys to be nice and consistent, as they had also had 15 minutes to prep on this map. So should be nice and hardwired in, but was having an issue. So let's keep an eye on that as we go through. And like I mentioned, Babs is in the lead, so should hopefully continue his consistency. Very much firmly in his hands. Doesn't necessarily have to come home first in every map from now on, but does need to be getting those consistent top 3s in order to secure the IOC championship win.
Basically, all he needs to do is to like keep everything intact and bringing this one home, I think.
Yeah, that might all be thrown up. All it takes is one issue at those sort of pivotal sort of 11th, 12th rounds where you might run into problems, and you might see some issues there. As I, on a second monitor, I'm keeping an eye on the Trapmania World Championship wildcard groups, and I just want to give a behind-the-scenes production chat. Padster and I did TMGL one week production, and we had to manually create the pick and ban screen, which involved Padster having to do a ton of work in Photoshop, export
okay.
those images, upload them to a folder that we shared, which would then pull through into my OBS. And I now see that there is an automated system for pick bans that Nardio have on the World Championship. So I am a little bit tamping rage and fuming right now. Yeah, we are still in we're still in warm up now, first round in, but soon you will be able to no longer see our lovely faces, and we'll be going into the rounds. There we go. But yeah, final round now before the eliminations begin, and we are looking forward to some high quality tunnel esports.
After his like start, hotspot was just full sending. I was just watching and listening to your, good kind words, and I saw hotspot just being 1 second ahead on the warm up, and yeah, let's say I expect something from him on a good time, a good show value from him. But yeah,
Yeah,
good luck to every. Yeah.
have you got the world record times for this map? Who's currently holding it, and
Yeah,
who's looking dangerous?
it is hotspot actually, but not only a world record taken 3 hours ago to be exact, just before preparing for IOC. It seems my guy just took the world record before starting. It seems like with a 54.3, an incredible time, I might say, following by Babs, Killian, Speeda.
Interesting. We will keep an eye on that as we go through. So we are now in our first elimination round. It's familiar faces at the back of the grid looking to just survive a couple of extra rounds. Lazed back in the game. Don't know how many times they're allowed to DC. Probably only once for the sake of everyone's sanity. But is now back in position and will be able to bring it home. But we are seeing some saves, and we see a big bonk there. I can't quite see who that was. David Nieranto. Dave also bonking. Nieranto also bonking. Dave repeatedly bonking. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's coming home. Has anyone finished the map yet? What's going on? We're still not entirely sure.
Ferguson, yeah.
18th. What's going on?
Those first rounders, as the players suggest, I think they love tunnels. Oh yeah, they kind of proved their point with this particular round.
Yeah, not ideal. As we see here, Dave with his McLaren car skin. Cannot believe I saw someone earlier in chat asking for no F1 spoilers. That is outrageous. I'm going to be nice and not tell you the results of the race, but I would advise that you go ahead and watch it as soon as you have the time, because you will undoubtedly get it spoiled, particularly if you're just hanging around in Twitch chats. But yes, GP2 engine there for Dave. I think maybe perhaps not the power unit that was the issue in that car. Perhaps the hands controlling the steering wheel. But we are now into the top 18. First round is in the bag. We're not seeing a tremendous amount of difference. Pazu is 1.7 seconds off the leader, but that is all going to be surmountable should the pace kick in. Yata now dropping back, seemingly had an issue and is struggling to get that pace back up. He's fighting quite valiantly, going quite a bit inside there, trying to regain that time. Onto the plastic section. Nicely done by most, and now tunnels, where the true test of this map comes. Everything else was trivial. I do believe we saw Demon Dragon there in the tunnel. Yato has made up a tremendous amount of time. He's now in 15th, has an extra spot safety, so should be able to bring this home, but still needs to be consistent. Is lifting, going for the risky finish. Bazu and Yata separated by no time at all, but Nitric and Demon Dragon will be out in this round.
Just realized until the identity, these battles are kind of neck and neck. Like the cutoff point until the identity was 2 seconds. It's just people, wanted to push because they probably feeling in pressure since the cutoff point is lower than I think, and putting themselves in a pressure situation. But yeah, from now on, the cutoffs will decrease progressively, I might say, as we go into the next round. But this time around, we have another player, I assume, disconnected. It is N7 right there.
That would be bad. N7 is battling for a podium position, and we are seeing a reset. I do believe we are on round 4, so we would be outside of that window for a reset according to match rules, so we'll keep an eye on that. It looks like N7 may just be out of it, but we are now jumping back ahead. Bazut and Cavarelli. Cavarelli is quite comfortably now off the back, so it is a case of everyone having to bring it home. Will they know to do this safely, or will we might see some issues? But no, mostly fine through the reset. No,
I
for
saw an issue for Yata, I think.
happening?
Yata is having a really hard time. Caparelli this time around as well. Yata trying to clean this one up and bringing this one home, despite making a major mistake. But Caparelli is not getting it, bringing this one home, like not getting it together, and goes out this time around onto the 15th position.
And that is incredibly unfortunate for N7. Has not had a computer issue, but is just having an issue with the car there being stuck. One round too late for the restart, as we mentioned, and that really does suck. N7 was, before we were in this round, 3rd place, but now will find themselves dropping quite considerably into 5th position. Obviously, still plenty of points left on the table for those ahead of him in this round, should they also run into issues, but that has taken N7 firmly out of the battle for 2nd place, and he will now be finding himself fighting over the scraps of the podium, and that's a real shame to see. You know, this is the nature of any PC game, any game, that isn't just played in person, but a real shame. But hopefully he can get his head nice and secure, no tilt at all, and focus on the upcoming maps and see what he can recover.
Sometimes the hurdles that you witness is just outside of your let's say needs. You're already battling it out with people. You're already battling it out with your the will, greed, etc. And now then there is the PC hardware issue. It's really hard to keep up. But onto the identity we go. We saw a lot of mistakes by Liffey as well. Liffey is also struggling on that one. I see Laced on the back of the bag. Yata is responding over and over again, but Ryan this time around barely making to the risky finish, and Laced missing it out on 0.9 of a second.
Yeah, and I'm going to suggest, actually, this is look, I love a third-person cam. Everyone knows that I love a third-person cam, always trying to throw it in. I think once we get to the tunnels, we should third-person cam. As I've just tried it there in my spectate, and it does give a pretty good angle and gives a good understanding of what's happening. As you see people resetting time and time again. So maybe we'll bribe production and drop in a spice, a little pinch of third.
Could have been a little bit more, action camera type thing, a little bit more, let's say, intense to be exact. Why not?
Seeing it seen as an issue straight away. Ryan now also on the bubble, and talk us through this map, this round. What do we think's gonna happen?
See. So far, the cutoffs are just dropping. I was about to say, and Ryan misses the trajectory, has to save and has to hard respawn on that one. But Bazoot as well. This is out of nowhere. Scene is saving himself, and Bazoot and Ryan making the same mistake on the same part, trying to retaliate from that part. And this time around, Ferg also with a mistake. Onto the identity they go. So far, no major mistakes. I'm observing right there, clearing this one out Ferg with a
Oh
smoke
no, that's
whip.
not the
So
camo
much
bed. That's not the
oh.
camo bed. I'm sorry, everyone. I've sent you. We're seeing some issues here. Blueberry go for the safe finish. Scene is struggling to get over the line. Bazoot and Ryan coming into the rear, but no, we've got Ferg comfortably in. Bazoot and Ryan coming into the finish, and I should have been more clear. I'm sorry, production. I sent you there. I meant like the follow all cam.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
apologize.
Happens to best of us. Yeah. It's just for one round.
Seen us there with a skill issue.
Oh.
In that they started the round 2 seconds late, but still made it through. So that will be interesting. But now they've got another skill issue in that they have touched the outside wall on one of these corners. Cian, Kyan, person also having an issue now. We've seen a pretty comfortable bottom 3 in this round that are really trying to claw their way back in. They just have to fight amongst each other unless someone resets ahead of them. We've seen some good lines by the players up ahead. We'll have to start checking in with those times now that we're into the top 10. Ferg is also dropping back, so this bottom 3 is comfortably turning into a bottom 4, and we'll see how that continues as we go through here. No time really between them at the moment. It's going to come down to the consistency in that ending, unless we see a surprise up ahead. And we've seen Babs a little bit wonky there through that section. Everyone making it through the first tunnel, everyone making it through the second tunnel, but no, Cenas is having to reset. So we're seeing an issue there with one more final tunnel for the rest of the ones up ahead, and they've all made it through, and it's a dash to the line, and Ferg just struggles 10th down, and that was awfully close.
Yeah, Veg with an incredible exit speed and the snipe at the barely before the finish. If this map was like one block closer to their side, I'm more than sure Ferg would have been in. But unlucky for him, the mapper wanted to put it one block further away.
Look, you've got to draw a line somewhere, and yeah, I'm seeing some chat about the might need to provide a phonetic sheet for names. Feel free to let me know who I'm saying wrong. I'd be quite happy to make sure that we're saying the right names here, but we are now back into this round. We're inside the top 8. I believe this will be the last round where we get 2 eliminated, and then it will be single elims all the way through until we crown this map's victor. We're seeing great times, great consistency from all of them now. Kian only 3/10 off the back, no, 6/10 off the back now as we go through that checkpoint, but still well within reach. One issue up ahead will bring them all back together. Hot Swat and Killian are having an issue. Babs has had an issue early. This is not what Babs wants to see. Like I mentioned, we're still in the 2 elimination rounds, so he's going to have to see 2 issues up ahead of him. Blueberry is slow going through the section. Kian has reset. Kian's reset twice, so now Babs only has to find one more spot. There's 2 tunnels left. Speedster is the person to watch here. Will they be able to ping it through? They will. So we will be seeing Babs with an issue and will find himself 7th. Needed to be consistent, lost that consistency. And while we initially were talking about Hot Swat on this map not having the consistency after what we saw, Babs is the first one to bleed, coming in 7th, getting a lot of points added to his total, and currently only with a 5-point gap to Hot Swat. He's only 5 points to the good Hot Swat, guaranteed to get at least 1 point in this round, so could get to within a 6-point game with 2 to go.
It's basically a patience game between those two, especially like Babs and Hot Swat. It's basically they're staring each other, and let's see who is gonna be the, let's say, weakling to go out first, and then they're gonna benefit as much as they possibly can. Oh, I see the mistake as well. Already losing 0.5 to the yellow, and a major mistake. Killian as well this time around, but Blueberry with an additional mistake, so he is almost sealed his deal. But just as I said, Speeder with a hard respawn once again. Blueberry is trying to comprehend how is he in even. It's a battle between 2 right now, separating them, separated by 1.1 seconds. Blueberry has to still keep an eye on what is happening on his back of his side, failing identity, and Speeder catching him up. Cleaning the second one as well onto the drift. Yeah, this is a super intense one. Blueberry with an overtake. Oh my days, with a snipe. Oh,
Barry
one.
with the PayPal, it says in the chat. That was incredibly close. A really good performance from the top four there. Kind
Yeah.
of went unseen as we were focused on that battle there, but Speeder, with a rather early issue, and yeah, could have only hoped for more. And Barry with a slight get out of jail free card there, and we'll see now as we jump on. We're in the top 5 now. We are expecting consistency. It's an awful lot of Irish Carskins with a couple of Guinness boys thrown in. Blue Barry again with an issue right off the line, and will have to fight back again. Last time out, got that spot back, not through his own doing, although, you know, consistency at the end does help, but mainly through issues for other drivers, so we'll be relying on that to get through here. Veg is cool, slightly on outside, and we see Hotswat now in that final position. He is the driver at risk now, as some issue befell him. Who knows what that would have been, but Hotswat chasing down Blue Barry is going to have to try and reel him in if he wants this victory over Babs. In the grand scheme of things, cannot afford to drop 9 points here. We'll see if he's able to chase him down tunnels. Liffey had an issue through tunnels. He's lost a little bit of speed. Hotswat is going to be chasing him. It's going to be incredibly close. We're coming down to the final tunnel. All 4 drivers with no time at all. It's a dash to line, and Blue Barry is out. He is down by 0.4 of a second, and that was absurdly close. The bottom 3 separated by just 0.08 of a second, and that was awfully close. Bit of a get out of jail free card for Hotswat. Blue Barry only got that extra round from what he was given, and Hotswat will be feeling the pressure now as we go into these final 3 rounds.
That was the upset I was thinking about. Exactly what I thought. Like, Hotswat crashing, but like risking, and the risk paying off. No one actually did a huge blunder or anything on the identity. Even Hotswat just pushed it, and it did pay off barely. And this is the snipe what I love to see in this kind of maps, especially. But so far onto the top 4 we go. Veg is cool. Is not that cool at the moment, losing 1.5 seconds to the 3rd place. So it's a battle between Killian, Hotswat, and Liffey. So Wake has to wait for a mistake in order to be have a chance to be in. But Liffey is increasing the gap, 0.25. No mistakes so far by none of the Irish players at the moment. But they are just bringing this one home without any issue at a 55.2. And the entire pack is on the back, and Wake is ending up on top 4.
Yeah, let's just want to focus on that. Veg, whatever. Vegetables are cool. Who knows? Came in today, 11th position, and has just secured in the bag a 4th place finish on one of the maps. So a good showing there. Has overperformed in the knockout stage. Currently 8th average finish, or ranked 8th amongst those left in. So a good showing so far. Let's see if they can keep that up. As we say, we are into the top 3. Liffey, Killian, Hotswat. Hotswat is up ahead, but we've seen issues eke in here. Liffey, the surprise of today's knockout stage, currently sitting first between the first 3 maps, and is looking to extend that lead. Is hunting down Hotswat, as we mentioned in the points. It is currently hunting down Hotswat on the map, but Killian is coming back to him. A much wider line there, but will he be able to keep up the speed? Everything seems to be going quite well for all 3 drivers. We go through the first tunnel, no issues there. We're prepping for the second tunnel. Killian bonks, so does Liffey. It's a battle of those with very little speed. Liffey should be able to bring this home now. Much less speed should make it a lot more consistent. Let's keep an eye on that. Gets through the final tunnel. AOK gets through the finish. And not a great showing by Liffey and Killian there, but Liffey is able to bring home that 2nd place finish in that round and will secure himself a mano-a-mano against Hotswat.
Let's see if Liffey does his redemption arc on this round, since he doesn't perform as he expected, I might say. But also, we need to keep that in mind. Every round favors Hotswat over Babsify. We need to keep that in mind as well. But onto the 1v1 we go. Liffey forces himself wide at the start, but that doesn't decide anything, since it's just the start of the track. The gap is already 0.3, but anything can happen on this track. We have seen a lot of mistakes, a lot of catch-ups. So as I just said, that the gap is pointing to Hotswat, going a little bit of a lacking on the pace, goes much more of an outside line, will have more exit speed over Liffey. No, actually, Liffey closing up a little bit. Yeah, Liffey is closing up a little bit more onto the 0.15 gap. He goes, forces himself a little bit more wide, loses out and slides. Unlike Hotswat, Hotswat keeps it cool by no sliding the entire outside line, but onto the identity we go. Let's see if he can keeps it cool. Liffey has to do something. Hotswat with an incredible save, actually. With the lefts and rights, keeps it clean still. Even though Liffey is trying, Hot Swat is just winning it left and right, up and down. Very well deserved. An incredible save on the second tunnel, if I was correct. Does a little zigzag. It was all over the place, but manages to control his car and deserves the victory, I might say. Congrats to him.
Yep, a great showing there by Hotspot. Really, the first time in this 6-map knockout stage that we've seen. The first time on map 4 where one of the top contenders has had an issue and the other one has capitalized. All we've seen thus far up until this point is Hotswat has an issue, Babs fails to capitalize. Babs has an issue, Hotswat fails to capitalize. But instead, this is the first showing where Hotswat is able to reduce that gap. Like I mentioned before, all he needed was to finish first, and the gap would be 6 points with, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, I was just
2
about to
rounds to
ask.
go.
So what is the gaps are look like? They have to like look closer. Like let's say both are out of their comfort zone right now. They're like, oh yo, it's getting closer and closer to a conclusion.
Yeah, so we've got Babs on 42 points, Hot Swat on 48, and Liffey. I mean, you can't rule them out. They are 20 points back from Hot Swat, 26 points back from Babs. That's 13 positions over the next 2 maps. That if they are able to do that on Babs and Hot Swat, they will be the ones who take the victory. It's going to be difficult to secure that, but it isn't to be ruled out. We've seen a lot of inconsistency from Hot Swat and Babs today. While we have seen raw pace, there were some very good times in that last couple rounds from Hot Swat. The consistency is not there, and so far, Liffey is comfortably winning this knockout stage. So, let's also look a bit further down. Killian, 72 points, only 4 off Liffey. N7, despite having that rather large penalty of their car just not starting, is only 20 points off third place on their own, but might be tricky to close that gap to Liffey. And we'll keep an eye on it as we continue. We're going to go into a no elims round. Looking forward to see what this map shows us.
This map is also one of my favorites. Again, the reason behind this, it has a lot of the old school Trackmania vibes, even though like the surface we use are different, like there's grass, dirt, but this map actually reminds me a lot of those, you know, TMNF ESL map packs. Believe it or not, I had the vibes with that super technical drift lines, cars going down to the ground. This was tend to happen a lot on the old school maps. Both a lot of times you drive on the ground, on the grass, and yeah, this map, as I said, giving me a lot of the TMNF vibes, let's say. Thus, it will be really fun to watch, I expect, especially a really pace-based map, considering we just survived those, let's say, TMGL-ish styles. Onto this one we go. So what's your expectations on this map? Are we gonna see like more close battles, or like, let's say,
you mentioned, you know, we're losing that sort of, you know, challenge, World Tour-esque identity from this map.
Exactly.
It looks more like a traditional Trackmania map. I am also a fan of when we just randomly end up on the grass. I think that's one of my favorite uses of the stadium. I think Trackmania 2020, you tend to not see that as much. But I don't know, somehow it makes it feel more grounded, quite literally, and just in the way that it plays. But yes, with less identities, with less of that, I don't want to say RNG, because ultimately it's a very deterministic game, but with less of that opportunity for inconsistency, I would expect us to see more reliable times earlier on in this round, which would mean that any issues will get punished. But that being said, this is some primo just chatting, because who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We see a first issue there for someone who I've been corrected, by the way. It's not Ceanus, it's Keenus, and it's not Cyan, it's Keen.
Okay, today my West knowledge has been increased slightly. Today I learned. That's cool.
Today I learned, and Killian and Keenus are at the back of the grid. Day Squared and Kian Nitric is also joining that battle. It is a tale of 2 groups here, as the front group is doing very well, and we're seeing a lot of issues behind. Not sure what we're going to see by the end of this.
Yeah, this looks all over the place. Just as we saying, this is like pace-based and so, but people are trying to just survive at the moment. But if you look at the front here as well, there's a huge battle going on between Hotstar and Bobs. But I want to see at the same time what is happening at the back of the pack here. Perhaps finishing with 58, but let's look. Davis just trying to clear the corners left and right. The gap is, let's say, quite stable. All he has to do, bringing this one on, but Nitrich almost jumps over the slowdown. but fails to do so. And Kane is almost, let's say, sealed his deal on the first round. Unfortunately, both going out with Nitrich. Unfortunate, as I said.
Yep, I may have just learnt their name, but that will not do them much help in this round because they are out super early doors and they are out with an awful amount of issues there in that opening round. But that is a shame. We will move forward now. We've got to keep an eye on who is going to be in that hot seat. Will we see the same names battling at the back, or will this inconsistency be itself inconsistent? We see Nieranto having an issue, Caparati also having an issue early, Dave Squed and Kappa both having to reset, Nieranto hitting the checkpoint. So we've got again a very big distinct group, a whole host of them at the front, and at the back 3 of them fighting over that final 2 positions. This is going to be very close unless we see any more issues. Haven't seen any more resets coming out of the pack, so we are seeing some consistent lines from those in front. Dave has had to reset, so we've now got Nieranto and Caparati fighting over that final position. We'll see if any more resets come in from those ahead, but even now I think those fighting at the front have a reset in hand and will still be able to do all right. Lays, though, with a reset, so has gifted Nieranto and Kappa a good run out here. Dave firmly in that last position. Lays will have to try and make up this time in the final section. Nieranto goes off the end. It's a reset for Nieranto. Dave Squared and Nieranto at the back. Lays is going to find himself in. Caparati is going to find himself in, and it is just getting awfully close in the middle and at the front, but at the back it is just a tale of bringing it together, and all they have to do is consistent lines. Just lift for once, boys, and you might find yourself getting a bit deeper into these rounds.
Meanwhile, at the very front, Babs just driving a sub 58, which is translates into top 6. Only one of the 6 players who drove sub 58 right there, which is a really good, let's say, time, considering this map is really technical, though.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those times as we continue. For Babs will need a good round. We're seeing an awful lot of touches at the start here. There is a lot more inconsistency than I was expecting.
That is a bloodbath and a half if I ever saw one onto the the fact that everyone is making the same mistake shows like what is decisive part is looking like, and how the better players are surviving, like is capable of. It's definitely a good way to show indication of skill. Yeah, exactly. But let's look at what is happening at the back. So Kaon is trying to sneak in, but gets a no slide, and the gap is just gonna open. Yata with a small touch on the outside. Yeah, loses some momentum onto the freewheeling as well. So Kaon just wait for a mistake to occur, but those players are very much aware, so they are definitely driving on their heels right now. So let's see if they can bring in this one home. If Kaon skips the slowdown, nope, he did so. However, ends up doing a kickflip. Unfortunate for him. But yeah, over the course, Babs is just incredibly on pace so far. He's just showing some really big gaps compared to his opponents. We'll see how it's going to shape up.
Yeah, Babs had plenty of time to consider and think about his actions in that last map because he went out so early, and has decided to come back and just deliver for us absolute pace. Yata there with a touch, super early. Blue Barry with a touch in solidarity. Veg is cool, just absolutely sending it. See you later, Alligator. Won't be seeing that anytime soon. We're seeing a lot of issues in the early section. I may have spoke too soon when I said we'd expect consistency in this map, because while there is there's no identity, let's say there's no RNG, there's no fun moments, there is ultimately precision required, and we're seeing a lot of resets happening at the back. So far, it's Veg is cool and Bazoot, but we will see if Kappa Riley and Yata are able to bring it home. Demon Dragon has slowed up, so might just make Bazoot able to bring it back, but I would not count on it. We are now heading into the final section. Babs still at the front, setting some very good split times. We'll see if he's able to challenge that world record on one of these rounds, but for the meantime, we will see Bazoot. Blueberry has slowed up. It is a dash to the line here. Will he be able to keep it going? He's landed okay, kept a little bit of the place, and Bazoot. Oh, Blueberry almost screwing himself over there, going for the safe finish, but was a second in the clear. And it was a dash to the line for all involved, and a 58 flat from Babs. He is angry, he is frustrated, and he is showing us with pure pace.
Yeah, the return is really solid on that one. The anger, the the, let's say the feeling of revenge, basically. Kind of shows what he wants for this particular map, at least. So I hope his pace is gonna pay off. But so far, it indeed does. But you know, one of the worst things to do in Trackmania is greed. Consistency is always superior than the greed. You can drive really fast times, but you know you have to drive them every time, especially if the format is looking like this. So let's look at what is happening at the back of the pack. Unlike the previous rounds, we have a battle going on this time around between Ryan and Killian. The gap is 0.2, but Demon Dragon this time around getting a really goofy outside line and lose a lot of momentum. So he is in the red zone right now. Just as I said, like Caporali is putting himself on the red place as well, and that's Yata who is yeets himself out of the map, unfortunately. And Demon Dragon this time around it is in the white place, but Caporali, unless someone makes a mistake, puts himself out and eliminates on the 11th place. And Yata, with that one unfortunate mistake, cost him a lot of time and ends up on the 12th place.
Yep, it looks like all the drivers got their heads together and decided, you know what, maybe this time for this round we'll start putting in some consistent times, because we did not see the amount of resets that we'd seen previously. We did not see the amount of confusion in trying to keep track of where everyone was. So we are now into the top 10, couple more rounds of 2 eliminations, and then we will be into the single eliminations. No huge upsets at this time. We have still got the contenders that we're keeping an eye on. We've got Hotswap, we've got Babs, we've got Liffey, and we see an issue there for Lays TM. We'll be having to reset that section. Killian also having to reset this section. So we do have a group at the front that should be able to bring this home. Demon Dragon is at the rear of that group, but he's comfortably ahead of everyone else behind him. 2 seconds gap there. And we see an issue there for Babs.
Yeah.
Babs is currently in the knockout positions. He has to catch Lazed here. I mean, if anyone were to do it, given their pace, we'd have to say Babs, but there's inconsistency leaking back into the game. We're seeing Babs now. He is 4/10 away from Lazed. There is still plenty of time for a reset up ahead, but I would not want to bank on it. Babs is having to make this time up. He's getting closer and closer. He's reeling them in. It's 4/10 of a second now coming over the line. It is another gap made. He's got a bit of a banker here. Laze is now dropped behind him. Babs has to bring this home safely. He's a little bit slow, but has found that pace and will comfortably now at the end find his way back in, but had a bit of a wonky moment. He's 3.3 seconds off the lead. No one is near his pace in these rounds. He's comfortably the only one setting low 58s, but it doesn't matter if you're going to go out early.
Exactly, like Babs is basically like blessed by Killian and Laced at the moment. Imagine like it happens on the next round and he went out. Like the times that you drive doesn't even matter how fast you are. Just as I said, consistency is always over to greed. And he has to be aware, but luckily he kept his nerves cool, and he knew he was gonna outpace Laced on that one, and basically overtook him without any issue. Even though it looked easy, I can guess it's a difficult task to do, especially if you are at the edge of going out. But on to the next round we go. We have Speeder, Blueberry, and Hotswat, some names that we don't see at the front quite often. Especially Blueberry leading and battling it with Hotswat, making a little bit of a difficult time for him. Let's see. Onto the jump he goes. Hotswat with incredible momentum. Blueberry, I think even Fat Fingered input there. Oh, yo, what an unfortunate mistake. And 7 once again overtaking Blueberry, but this time around Demon Dragon and Ryan waiting for an additional mistake from in front, but none is happening. But Demon Dragon and Ryan, without any major blunders, they're just going out, unfortunately. And I think this is Demon Dragon's best performance so far, I might assume.
Yeah, I'm going to double check the stats on that. An 8th position will be their best performance.
Nice.
And I must say, came in 18th position before we got into the knockouts. Has been fairly consistent in the knockouts. Is now coming in at 14th if this was just a knockout only. So a good showing there by Demon Dragon, making it work, being consistent on a map when it matters. Blueberry with an early bonk, Hotswap with an early issue, but has been able to reclaim that. We are now into the heavy hitters, the names we'd expect to see. We are going to be keeping an eye out to see who makes an issue. Speed, he's the first one to have an issue now, 0.7 off the back of everyone ahead of him. Blueberry has shown some iffy moments on this track so far, so we'll see if he's able to stay consistent. N7 now the one at the back of that. opening pack. Speeder is really having to try and close that gap, but it's currently 1.4 seconds behind. That gap is only extending. Blueberry has found himself in an issue, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Assuming he can bring it all home safely, we're now into the final stretch. Is doing okay. Not a lot of room for error here. We're seeing a lot of consistent runs, particularly as we get towards the end. And I think, unless there's an issue, Blueberry will bring it home, and we'll be saying goodbye to Speeder. Our first of the singular limbs, coming out in 6th place, but a good map overall for them. A similar person who they're actually quite consistent. So far, their time attack ranking has them at 6th. Their knockout ranking has them at 6th. And their overall ranking is, as you may imagine, 6th.
That's kind of consistent.
Yeah. It's always good to be the 6th best. And they went out 6th. So, nothing but consistent.
Everything checks out, I might say, for him. I mean, he can be happy with his stats, I might say. It's quite difficult to, you know, make everything check out in a game that is paced like Trackmania. But on to the next round we go. Now we are in top 5. Blueberry finds himself on the red, but nothing is decided at the genuine moment. It's only between 0.25 players, but N7 forces himself out wide, and Blueberry once again finds himself on an awkward trajectory and costed him more than a half second through the first place, like compared to first place. And this time around, he has to either wait for a mistake or has to push like there is no tomorrow. Hotswat, however, 0.15 ahead of second place, and the gap is just increased to half a second. What is Hotswat cooking? I might be curious, but let's look at Blueberry right there. Overtaking N7 has much more speed and will decide everything. Blueberry going too wide, and N7 crashing to the end.
It's the slowdown.
Yeah, it gets the slowdown as well, and Blueberry just ready to rumble, as I said, ready to find that one mistake, and definitely benefits from the situation. And onto the top 4, he carries himself.
I just want to come back to this stat of Speeder. So just to give you an idea. So Speeder today has finished 5th, 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That is wonderful consistency. I love that.
Never
It's
do
actually
that.
now with that finish has found himself 5th on the knockout rounds. So still 6th overall, but that is great consistency. That's kind of what you want to see. We're not seeing that from many other players, just him and Liffey really, that have that consistent driving. But now Liffey staring down the barrel of his first finish outside of the top 2, let alone the podium. Red number on the car, but exchanges positions with Hotswat now. The two of them practically indistinguishable from each other, driving within themselves. Blueberry and Babs, the battle of the bees, up ahead, looking for that good time, but Liffey and Hotswat just trading paint here. It is incredibly close. Blueberry, with some sort of issue, has now slowed up, drawn himself into that pack, but it is nothing to separate these at all. One issue and you will find yourself eliminated from this round. It is all to play for as we come into the final section. Will anyone get screwed over by the slowdown? And Hotswat gets screwed over by the slowdown, and Liffey snipes him at the end.
Oh, one small mistake costing you the entire map. It's so, let's say, unmerciful whatsoever. Just one like tiny touch on the inside and you are gone until the next map. And also I want to pay attention. After the free wheel, Blueberry does a really different line compared to others. I hope we are gonna see it again from him. He forces himself out wide and carries the momentum throughout the entire uphill, which is really efficient way to carry the speed. We're gonna see him again. But onto the top 3 we go. So 2 players from Good Focus, Liffey and Babs, battling it out. Blueberry forces himself so much wide. Let's see if it's gonna pay off, but he is just losing time over the map goes on. Liffey this time around, not closing up to Babs, but to the Blueberry. Blueberry overtakes Liffey on this one, super wide, barely misses the wall on the outside. But let's see Blueberry's line, forced himself wide, just as I said. Look at the speed he carries onto the Liffey, closes up onto the uphill. Liffey touches to a little bit of a penalty stand, exactly. Overtaken by Blueberry, but this end will decide everything. Blueberry with a better trajectory and snipes the second place, and Liffey unfortunately goes out, but Blueberry is indeed cooking. Good luck to both of the lads right there between Babs and Blueberry.
Yep, Liffey's second, third place finish of the night so far has had a 2 firsts, 2 thirds, and a second in that sandwich. And we will be seeing now a battle between Babs and Blueberry. This is impressive from Blueberry on this map. Up until this point, has yet to finish on the podium in any of these maps. So clearly has found some level of consistency here, or has got himself nice and warmed up. But Babs just absolutely sending it off into the distance. Is half a second ahead. Will we see a great time from Babs, or will we see Blue Barry just struggle to stay with that pace? Only time will tell. 5/10 still the gap as we head into the middle section. We're off onto the grass floor. We've lost even more time to Babs up ahead. Babs looking to really punish Hot Swap for that 4th place finish and really try and extend his lead as we head into our final map, I believe, next up. It is going to be close as we head into the final round, but this round is not close because Babs looks very comfortable, stretching almost a second lead now as we head into the end. It would take some grade A slow-mo in order to bring Babs back into Blue Barry's reach, and I've got to assume that's not going to happen. Gets over the slow-mo, flips it at the end. Blue Barry seemed to have a worse showing of it, so that is a round win, a map win for Babs, and we head into our final map of the evening, and I believe our final map of IOC. Could do with someone just checking before I build this up too much.
Teardrop, I guess.
It will be Teardrop,
yeah.
and Babs has to beat Hot Swap by 6 positions. That is all.
Incredible showing of pace by Babs. One mistake, and other than that, I don't see any issue from his side once again. So congrats to him, yoinking the first place. Definitely well deserved.
Indeed it is, and I just want to clarify because I said my stat wrong or poorly. So if Hot Swap is to win, he needs Babs to finish 7th and him to finish 1st, or Babs to finish 8th and him to finish 2nd, etc., etc., etc. He needs to finish 6 positions better than Babs.
Yeah.
So we will see how that pans out. A battle for 3rd place, just to come back to that, seems fairly comfortable for Liffey here. If he loses out to Killian by more than 9 spots, he will lose that. If he loses out to N7 and Killian by more than maths on stream never goes well, 12 spots, they will both jump him. But we will keep an eye on this as we head into this final round.
I might ask, like, kind of a, let's say, your opinion. So into the Babs Hot Swap situation, who do you think is under the pressure right now? Who's under pressure, and who is superior on the game right now? What do you think?
It goes without saying that you'd want to be in Babs' position, right?
Exactly.
Like, there's a benefit to being an underdog. There's a benefit to chasing, but not if you need to make 6 positions up on the person, right? You really are relying on Babs to have an issue, and for Babs to struggle on this map and to go out early, and then you to capitalize on that. That's something we haven't seen. But that being said, we haven't seen the best of Babs, and we haven't seen the best of Hot Swap today. They both had issues. They both got out early. Liffey has been the one to rely on for consistency. So I don't think I'd want to be either of them, is ultimately the answer. I'd want to skip to the end and just know where I've ended up, because Babs needs to bring it home. If he's 6th, he wins, right? That's your basic. That's your can't be bothered to worry about the stats. If he finishes 6th, he wins IOC, right? We are.
So I might ask, does the for example, if he is 6th, he wins, right? So like the positions has to be like 7 apart in order to Hot Swap to win.
Yeah. So if there's 12 spots
between
them,
if it's, for example,
time break works.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a tie break goes too. So I see.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see how it's gonna shape up.
Yeah, I'm asking sort of tournament organizers for clarification.
Right.
How does tiebreak work? That sort of stuff. Because we might find ourselves in a tiebreak situation.
All right. Since you're gonna ask, we are on to the first round. We go. Once again, assuming 18 players onto the first round. We know how the first rounds always go. It's try to survive and not put yourself. Oh, it's top 20 actually. So let's see how it's gonna shape up. So far, no major mistakes. I was about to say, and buzzed with a hard respawn already off the we go, and I see someone. It was Killian. Does a little bit of a backflip, and Dave this time around almost getting overtaken, and Demon Dragon as well. First round in near end, so getting overtaken by Killian. Killian making some positions. Just as I said that. Well, let's take a look at what is. If there is a rivalry on the back of the pack, not really. Once again, I want to take a look at the battle at the front, dude. That is Hot Swap and Babs. If I neck and neck, And
Ooh,
Babs
Babs
survived
with
with Babs with a tap this time around, but once again, luckily the gaps are already too much opened, and right now you are very flexible with your play style. You can full send, do like really small mistakes if you are aware of what you're doing, of course. But this time around, Neo Ranto finds himself in the last place, and Demon Dragon is the first rounder, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, we were praising Demon Dragon for a good showing
Yeah.
a couple of maps ago, and unfortunately is out in the opening groups there, saying goodbye to Neoranto and Demon Dragon for the remainder of this competition. Down now to the top 18, all still to play for pretty much every position left on the board. We're seeing a lot of good running by some of these drivers. What I must point out, this is a very short lap, and what comes with short map times is even more punishing issues, because a 4-second issue you can maybe claw back a second or two on the lower performers over a minute, but over 45 seconds you've got a lot less time to really bed yourself in there and get that victory back. And we've seen Babs and Hotswap just driving within each other. Both of them now just in a league of their own. And the battle at the back with Kappa Riley, Dave Squared, and Yata. Yata not having a great second half of this knockout stages will find himself
I thought,
racing to the line,
yeah,
but racing for honors there.
that
Coming
was
in
it.
17th.
Yeah,
Yata
that was
and
it.
Dave are out.
That was a historical overtake by Yata, but achieved nothing, unfortunately.
Yep.
But yeah, looked cool at least. We can show this on I don't know, another trailer maybe.
Yeah, look good for the trailer. Just make sure you don't accidentally have the car numbers on the back of them, because we don't want the slow mo to reveal that they were fighting over some red car numbers there. Pastor, just a note for IOC4.
Exactly.
Kappa Riley off to an immediate issue there. We've got Penis, because I've learned the pronunciation guide, was on the bubble and still is on the bubble. Him and Nitric are fighting over that position, but Keenus with a good run out here now, finding himself comfortably within the middle of this pack, so should be good, assuming no more issues. Ferg has now dropped back into the elimination zone. This is a very close round. The field is spread quite considerably, but it is still very close. We see a big hit there. I believe that was from Bazu. He's comfortably going to be out now. Keenus looking to make up this time at the end through a tunnel, goes for the risky, and someone went for the safe, and Ferg has lost it.
Yeah, Ferg just lost his color control and has to force himself respawn. Yeah, as I said, one blink of an eye and you find yourself on the red zone. It's what Trickmania is about. But yeah, as you just said, even though this map offers way more than I expected in case of the rivalry, you say just the packs are splitting, but there's still a huge rivalry going on, and the time gaps, let's say, below my expectations, which is really cool. But onto the next round, we go Nitrich onto the bobsleigh. Has to wait for a mistake, so Kain as well. Only point for away, and Veg this time around. Everyone's trying to survive. They're aware if they make a mistake, it's gonna be very punishing. Right now, it's only a second at the moment. So, Veg with a no slide, so it's gonna be a huge opportunity
Babs
for
is
Kain.
close.
Babs is on the bubble. Even crashes and barely misses out. Only 0.5 of a second. Hotswat is probably not really happy with this occasion. One being first, other being 12, just on the bubble.
That was so close. Half a second away from absolute devastation for Babs. You've got to put your money on Hotswap bringing it home if that had happened. But there is the get out of jail free card. There you go, Babs. That is your one. I doubt you're going to get another one. We are seeing such consistent times as we head into the top 12 that, like I mentioned, one issue, and it is very difficult to find it back. But now we're heading back in. Babs has regained his mojo, fighting up at the top with Hotswap. We're seeing some issues now for Lazed and Keenus back. But I'm really curious about this battle at the top. Like I mentioned, Babs just needs to finish 6th, and he will be in a good spot. Needs to be more consistent. This is interesting.
Exactly. Right now, I feel like if I have to put myself for Babs, I would put myself. Oh my! That's Hotswat doing a cool backflip. Has to force himself double respawn. He is not saving it right now. Gets a little bit of a clip, but I think this is a problem for Hotswat, and I
It
think
is.
this is gonna be the end of the journey for him. 7 seconds, it's gonna be over for him. And Babsify, I think, wins from here, if I know correct.
Look, maths is not my strong suit, but so far, Babs has a 30-point gap to Liffey in second place, and with only, I want to say 11 left. Let me just check as we load up into the next round. But with only 10 players left, that is going to be insurmountable. And I will wait until we get some of the boffins in the booth in the admin team to confirm. But I think we might have just seen Babs win the entire competition through Hotswat's issue.
I can tell Hotswat is not the. Oh. I think Hotswat not winning on this one, but this time around, Babsify, I think he feels nothing but relief. A shoulder, let's say, at least 20 kilos of loss on his shoulders, I might say. He's just chilling, making his way to the finish line. Doesn't even care what happens in front, what happens in his back. I can tell already. But onto the back of the pack we go. Kane is making a not a really ending and gives up his position to Speeder. Caporali also not making it onto the next round. Fortunately, both going out this time.
Yeah, and we do have a confirmation by all involved that this will mean that Babs wins IOC 3. A great
GG,
performance by
well
Babs.
played.
It wasn't done with perfection, but it was done with just consistency when it was needed. They both had an issue on this map, one more punished than the other, and Babs will end the day thinking, I may not have driven good, but I drove good enough. And we are now into the battle for that second spot. Hotswat currently on 78 points, Liffey on 73, but Liffey has yet to post a score from this map. So we are keeping an eye to see if Liffey is able to keep hold of this position. Liffey needs to score less than 5 points this round, so he has to come third or better, and that will mean he has brought home second place. And with what must be said, a very impressive knockout stage from Liffey. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if he is able to bring it home. I still don't know the tiebreaker rules, so let's hope that we don't see a tiebreaker required, because I might just cry. I'm waiting for the production team to let me know what the tiebreak rules is. And Killian might, in theory, get top 3 if Liffey goes out early, but I doubt we're going to see that. It really is a battle for second place, as far as I can see it. We'll keep an eye on this sheet as it updates as the rounds tick over. Babs, like you mentioned, kind of just running it home, doesn't have to worry too much, might even throw a DNF. We'll keep an eye on it.
So it's already surprising that Hotswat not winning at IOC, but even his second place being at risk at the genuine moment, it's now that's what I call an upset, to be genuinely honest with you.
Yeah, this is I hope we, I'd like to see Liffey bring home this second spot, because it will be a testament to this, doing really well in the knockout rounds and the effect that has. I am still waiting for tiebreaker information.
Liffey is struggling a lot, just as we speak about him. Ryan is sneaking close to him, gets a little bit of a bump, so does Killian, puts himself on such a struggle position, but Ryan with a respawn, unfortunate for him, ends up DNFing, cannot bring this one home, but saving both of the participants for the podium places this time around single-handedly. So I don't know if he's happy with it or not. I don't know. We'll see. Off to the next round he goes.
Off to the next round. We are now within the top 5. Some familiar names, but obviously Hotswat is having issues. Still waiting on tiebreaker information. We're just going to power through. That is one for the Twitter after, because now all we want to see is Babs has won. That is in the record books. That is what the Wikipedia page will say. It is all about, can Liffey bring home that second position? And to do that, well, bringing home second position would confirm it. Third will lead to a tiebreaker, and no one knows what happens there. We are now on board with those at the front, because Killian has found himself 2.9 seconds off the pace here, so more than likely will find himself falling. Liffey, Speeder, and Seven and Babs will be fighting over the top 4, and I do quite like this ending. It's identity-esque, it's quite tricky to nail. It does seem to have a nice bailout route, which you've always got to appreciate, but here we see consistency from those in the front. 45-2 for Babs, and a 1.1 second gap between him and fourth place, but Killian bringing up the rear with 6 seconds to go as we head into the top 4.
For
This
your
is gonna be interesting.
information, Babsify just drove top 3 time, which is 45.2.
That's crazy.
That is incredible. Like, to put that in perspective, the faster two players are basically Hotspot and himself, and Hotspot is not here, so you have to basically, be on another level to compete with this Irish madman.
Yeah, Babs has 6/10 on everyone left in the lobby, from what I can tell from their best times in this match so far. So should bring it home comfortably. Would be nice to seal the victory with a victory. We will jump on board with the battle at the back now. Speeder and Liffey with N7 ever so slightly ahead of the two of them. Liffey needs to bring this home if he wants that second position. He cannot give anything up here. Speeder with some wide lines, but is still hanging on to the back of the pack. Is making it work, albeit has dropped a touch, but still within striking distance should anyone up ahead make an issue. We see good running through from all of here. The tunnel gamers have been successful, and N7 and Liffey were not to be foiled. Speeder out in fourth position, good showing from them, and we're now into the top three. There is a tiebreaker. We're not going to worry about the tiebreaker because that's for the Twitter. Like I mentioned, that's for the post game. Take us through this round. Will Liffey bring it home for a second place?
Let's see. Off to a good start, we go once again. Even Speeder showed off a roll pace. It wasn't enough for him, but this three gamers out there right now showing off. Liffey with a release at the bobsleigh will lose some momentum because this is going to carry your speed through the next chicane. And after the uphill they go, Liffey starts to risk it, kind of aware of the situation. And 7 as well, even battling for Babs right now. So Liffey is giving us a really good perspective onto the entire match, that what is going on. Liffey trying to sneaks up to N7 and the gap is 0.3, and Babs! That is not the trajectory you should take, but watching on the front, and 7 clears it up. Liffey, cold-headed, bringing this one home. But I think Babs is already happy with his result, I might say, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, on to the top 2 we go. Babs is out. But
yeah,
right
Babs
now
is out. He has saved us from a tiebreaker discussion because this means that Liffey will be coming home in second place, Babs in first, and like I mentioned way earlier, Hotswat will be coming home in third. Check Babs's PayPal. The admin team might have paid him off to save us from an awkward post-game discussion of what the tiebreaker rules are, but we do see now Liffey and N7. This is all for the morale. The record books won't care too much about the ending of this round. It's not going to have an impact on the overall championship. But between N7 and Liffey, this will be for fighting talk. N7 has yet to win a round today. Liffey has had his fair share, 2 of 5 thus far, looking to make it 3 of 6. And that would be an incredible showing by Liffey, really showing the power of that knockout rounds. And as we see, we're coming in now to the ending. N7 has made a touch. Liffey looks like he's got the run out. All he needs to do is bring this home. That's 1, that's 2, that is 3. And Liffey will be bringing it home, winning half of our knockout rounds today, finishing in the podium positions in damn near the rest of them. And a tremendous showing there by Liffey. Absolutely putting on a clinic. Did finish 26 points shy of Babs, but at the start of the day, probably would have taken that. And there we have our top 3 in IOC. 2 of them are in the podium right now, albeit in slightly different spots. But as we cut to the spreadsheet of Destiny, you can see Babsify takes the Irish Open Cup version 3 with 48 points. Liffey comes in second with 74 points. Hotswat in third with 78, and we will have to worry about tiebreakers because that 4th spot is going to be hotly contested between N7 and Killian.
Oh. Apparently, Liffey's second place is not like he didn't get the second place on the map and left. Like he even won against N7 apparently, and proved his point. I might say, like towards Hotswat. But yeah, definitely GG's to every single participant. Was such a, let's say, fun show to watch. Thanks to their driving skills overall. And yeah, I enjoyed my time personally. To be genuinely honest with you.
It has been good fun. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just going through the chat logs here. I think Liffey was saying that they were worried about their performance because they were also doing admin stuff. And no need to worry at all. Let's just recount that. So Liffey today, 1 on Teardrop, 2nd on, I can't believe I've decided to say the map names because I'm not going to be able to follow it through. But 3 first positions, 1 second position, and 2 third positions. Could not have done all that much better. Only really dropping, let's do the maths on that one, an amount of points. Can't be bothered to add them up, but doing everything he could. Maybe a couple worse rounds from Babs might have brought him into contention for that win, but I'm sure after coming into the day 5th, he will take 7th place, and apparently there will be a tiebreaker after the stream for 4th
Oh.
position. There will be a grudge match, a mano between N7 and Killian. Not only, can I add, are they tied in the overall rankings, but they're actually tied in points for both the time attack and the knockouts. So there is
Oh.
quite literally nothing to separate them. So it will be an absolute grudge match between the two of them. I'd like to see a one shot, just one round, to see who wins, but we'll wait and see. And undoubtedly there will be either a tweet or a Discord message to let us know how this is all going to wrap up. But we are hoping to get Babs for an interview. I feel like I spend a lot of my time in Trapmania talking to Babs, and I'm not complaining. It's always good to have a catch up, but hopefully we'll be able to bring him in and discuss that. Not sure where he's playing from at the moment. As we see, he joins now. Firstly, Babs, can I congratulate you on winning IOC 3? You made us worry for you there for a minute. It wasn't the flawless display we were hoping for, but you were able to bring it home. How are you feeling?
Mostly relief, I'd say. Yeah, the nerves really took a shot there today, but I'm happy enough. This is what I wanted. Hotspot and I had a good battle, but I'm happy to come out on top.
Yeah, the battle was intense for sure. Like, what have you felt like after? Like, I wanted to ask, when it was the last map, and you are aware that you have to be at least 6th, and who do you think has the superior morale entering to the last map? Is it Hotspot or you? Like, who has the less pressure? I really wonder on that.
It's difficult because I mean Hotspot he's such an incredible player.
Experienced, I see.
Yeah, he's so experienced, such an incredible player. And like we have a sort of dynamic where like he likes to try and get into my head and try and test, my mental and see how I can cope with that. Which I know he likes to do, but I knew I was good on these maps and I feel like it was a bit of a level playing field across the day. But I think it was very, very much the second last map, Ferry Forts, which kind of not won it for me, but where I definitely thought, okay, now let's close it out.
Yeah,
I
I just
see.
want to talk about your overall performance in the knockouts. We had a first place, a second place, a third place, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. So you really robbed us there of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But both yourself and Hotspot struggling on some of those maps. Did you know going in that even that Liffey was perhaps getting involved in that battle for at least the top 2, or in that final map where you just focus on Hotspot, and when you saw him go out early, you knew, right, I've got it in the bag. Let's bring it home.
I mean, I feel like, I mean, if we go through the maps, like map 1 was fine, like the final, it was unfortunate with the landing bug. This second
Yeah.
map, I got a landing bug as well. I was starting to get a little bit frustrated, but it was okay. Obviously, Killian's map is, I mean, that's just like 50-50 for everyone. So I was happy enough to make it as far. I didn't even know that Hotspot had finished 10th at that point. It was only when I tuned into the stream and I saw he was out before me. But yeah, I mean, Liffey performed really, really well. I mean, he's known for his consistency. Like, he played IOC 1 was when he started playing Trackmania. Like, he'd been playing for 2 months and he won like 3 maps. And
Oh wow.
and he's pretty much done it again here in IOC 3. And he's the sort of player, if he maybe had a better TA, he'd probably deserve a win there.
Yeah, definitely. So many points left on the table. If only he'd had a better time attack, like you mentioned. But yeah, overall, obviously you're going to be happy with the victory. Do you want to just have more of a word? Obviously, you've mentioned Liffey, you've mentioned Hotspot there. Is there anyone else in the tournament that stood out to you? Any good showings? Anyone you're happy to have shared this stage with?
Yeah, I mean everyone. Just everyone putting in the effort. Like, this map pack was very difficult, especially for some of the players lower on the leaderboard, but still, like, they put in the effort. Neoranto is one of those. Davey as well. Stuck at it and tried to give their best, and that's pretty much across the field. So I'm just delighted that we have this event for our little community and that we can all enjoy it so much. I mean, Liffey deserves praise not only for his performance on the track, but also behind the scenes and organizing everything as well. Yada as well, and everybody who's been working on it, you guys included. So yeah, just overall very happy for everyone and myself, of course.
Once again, though, congratulations, a very well-deserved victory on your side, and thanks for serving us a really, let's say, intense battle throughout the entirety of the tournament. I do appreciate once again.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it almost felt like a 1v1 against Hotswat. Obviously, the scoreboard doesn't show that at the end, but I mean, I kind of want to give a little bit of a shout out to Hotswat. It probably won't mean much to him, but like, he is somebody I really look up to, and I have looked up to since I started playing Trackmania. So yeah, I'm just delighted to be able to share the track with him, and yeah, it's massive massive pride.
Well, you definitely deserve the victory you had today, and it was a great showing by all involved. It's a shame Nua couldn't be here to bring it home. I know he's a big fan of the Irish Open, but we hope Nua is feeling a little bit better. And a final word from Birdie, if you don't mind, before we wrap this up, and we send you somewhere mysterious for the host.
Oh? Someone mysterious? Wait a sec. What do I miss? Wait.
Don't worry, we'll wrap it up now. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Synergy through the roof there. We're having a great time, but it was great to be here. Love being called up whenever a caster is ill to try and bring it home. Like I mentioned, shame it couldn't have been an all Irish affair for the final, but thanks everyone for tuning in. See you guys next time for what I assume will be an IOC 4 sometime in the future. From myself and from Birdie, thank you very much for coming along, and we are off to raid Twiggy, who is currently doing the Trackmania World Championship while